civil right now, Jackie, but getting across this road is when they're going to be completely open to each other. But looks like, given that most of the players here are in their own vehicles, unlikely you're going to see that second seat spray down. But Genforce, he's on their tail. I mean, fair enough. Are given at least as good as they get, if not better.
Yeah, it would have been hellish for them as well, right? Great game one, at least keeping themselves in an elevated position. The points, the placements going into game two, nowhere near as clean. If they had an uncomfortable start here, lost their players, limped away, would have been brutal. Instead, the egg is on the face of Ulf, as it will only be a duo that remains.
They're going to have to play in positions that generally are going to need a lot more firepower to hold down those more open areas, the dips around that zone, maybe some of the compounds, the buildings in that area. So you have to try and find something, keep this one going as the zone coming on through for the next pot for our stage 2 zone. Is it going to be hard? Is it going to be difficult? It's very firmly on the south edge there, Jackie, but it keeps a lot of land in. We're moving away from Yasnaya Fields. We're moving down towards the farm area, the positions east of Potato Hill, and those shelter positions out on the east side, I think are going to cause a lot of problems here because we've got so many teams on the northeast edge. RRQ are already posted up around that area. It looks like they are retreating a bit though, but a lot of teams are going to be trying to move in from this northeast side, and it's going to get messy. It's going to.
That's a John Allen guarantee.
I don't joke about mess.
You can trust those. Man, it's been a bit bumpy as well for a squad like 721 GS, right? See their POV here. They had a few games back during the group stage where they were able to sort of harass other teams, still good elims, and have their head on a swivel. I was thinking maybe they'd be able to elevate themselves in a bit of a generally considered weaker lobby where there's opportunities to rise to the occasion. Our top team certainly have. For them, still down towards the bottom side of the pack in 12th place right now. Got to give us a little bit more if they want to keep themselves in it. Wrap over from Tianba as well. They're going to be on the move down. Can it be the three-peats already eating good today? 47 points in this game. So far ahead compared to the next close squad, which is that tied second podium position between Alula and Goat. So they're really coming out to play.
It was 108 points was the record set by Vitality in a single day.
Yep.
And I feel like I brought that up maybe slightly too early in the day, but if you're on 45 points in 2 matches, simple multiplication will tell you that you're going to get there, right? You would need a little bit more on this game, it's safe to say, but still, like you say, in the position in the northeast side, they're fairly isolated. They can maybe chill out a little bit. I thought it was going to be the northeast side that was going to be a little bit messy, but that seems to have rotated down and split around the prison. Instead, the positions to the north of Milta are going to be much more chock-a-block with our players moving out the wolves from Milta past Kiwum DRX, who did actually rotate over the water into Milta, which was quite interesting. They were able to jump on in and force the teams in the area out wide. AGAL, who went across that bridge early on, of course, going to that Milta Power area. They went out all the way to the east, and they have now slung into a pretty solid position. But it was Kiwum DRX who were the team to sort of divert them on that part.
I think for KRX as well, right? This is sort of the middle portion of the day where you're thinking, okay, guys, got to lock in a little bit here, get a bit more energy, some wind back under the sails. If they want to push for more. Locked in last place right now in the overall standings. Not the dream whatsoever. We'll see as the zone comes in as well if there's going to be any benefit here, if it pulls up more so towards that north side. No. All right, not too bad in terms of the positioning for some of our more central squads as well. Non-Shin Red Force once again got themselves set up early. There's only Dopeness that were in amongst the set of 2 players from either side. Ulf near there, Fury instantly rotating off the confirmation of the zone, and Tiamba pushing down as well.
From that east side, look how many teams are moving around that Ulf position. Dopeness just about snaking their way over the top of this one. Remember, Ulf only on 2 players, so really can't do too much to stop this. They're just going to have to hope that they can win a fight. In the meantime, on the southeast edge, it looks like Kiwoom DRX having a tough time of things against Alpha 7, as 2 of them have already gone down. And there's really not much more for them to do here. Hoxie wants to try and hold his nerve in the face of Alpha 7, but they haven't lost a player yet, and they're not about to start now. Carrillo able to find the final shot, and there's a burn down on the last player for the South Korean side.
I think that's by far the cleanest take we've seen of a compound from Alpha 7 today. They get that one done, John, but it doesn't end. They've effectively rung that proverbial dinner bell that's baited over RRQ. So for Alpha 7, they'll have to keep on fighting. Furia pushing over as well with AGAL in their line of sight. Height to play with, so at least advantage from that. Liu has limited meds as well. He's going to be able to top himself back up. Fein wall of smoke between them. Good bit of open distance, so if that peels off, Ayala's usually clean for these. Going to somewhat peek out towards the road. Just assess the situation, see if there's room for a couple quick shots.
I feel like they're going to be okay for the time being, but with Wolves moving in from the east side, that could potentially force Furia to crunch in and lose influence. But are the Wolves going to stop there, or are they going to try and keep going a little bit deeper into the zone? I feel like they're going to be more of a problem for AGAL on this situation. And indeed, they do head further and further west, getting out of dodge. So Furia can continue their presence. And the Wolves actually managed to get through fairly securely. They are only playing as 3, but doing okay, I think it's safe to say. And right on top of the final player from Dopeness as well. To try and make your way into the center of the zone. I'm surprised that the Wolves have gotten as far as they have here, Jackie, because it was a kind of crazy threat through all of this. It was probably helped by the fact that AGAL and Furia were both looking at each other, were a little bit isolated away on that fight, so they just moved over the north side of the ridges that sat there to get into the spot. Good read.
It could be a good reposition for Alpha 7 as well. Last time we saw them, of course, they had that great injection back over towards KRX, cleaned up on the compound. Then they were briefly met by IRQ that bailed out on that one. Alpha 7 chasing down Yangon, at least one of their players. They're going to get away. Zone crunching further in again as well. Dead center setup right now from Nonshin Red Force. Haven't had to move or fight for anything in quite some time.
And they got 4 of their players alive as well. This is pretty decent news for Tiamba, although that less so. They have taken a knock onto QZZ on that eastern side with RRQ bearing down upon them. In the meantime, Furia and AGAL starting to come to the forefront of the fighting. As there's 1, there's 2 knocks as well. A flush coming through from Igors. And the nades can't quite repel them, can't quite rebuff them in time. And Maple trying to stand against an onslaught from Furia. This is tough stuff. XCZ also feeling the brunt of pressure. I think that might be an off angle coming through from Yangon Galacticos. And what can you do? A nade over the back does tag, but doesn't quite get a flush or another knock.
Yeah, just a bit of chip damage. Not enough to punish him with. Chief going to step back up with one of his own as well. Dashes it onto AGAL. That's more what you're looking for. Now they can compress in and try and collapse upon the squad. AGAL going down swiftly as they will lose out. Removed from the equation here as Furia are still standing.
On that south side, lining the roadside now. Well, more of a path, really, if we're honest, but we'll be able to use that ridgeline that was protecting the Wolves on their rotate, potentially to launch themselves forwards, but I don't think they can do it fully just yet. Instead, they're going to have to worry about their south flanks and their west and east as well. Alpha 7 rolling over, trying to take on the other Brazilian side. We're not quite getting fully stuck in just yet, Jackie. They're calming things down. And hit the deck, belt buckles, meeting dirt.
A lot of noise in the arena right now. Here at the Kadir City grid, it's been getting pretty fiery with the energy coming out in support of Alpha 7. Meanwhile, Goat team taking some shots. That's a pop off from the fans over in Yangon's corner, and rightly so. First elim on the board there for Smile.
They want to hunt for more. There are goats out to the west, and they want to find them. E-Arena And Alula now coming into conflict. Remember, Arena losing a player on the drop, so they are as 3, and 3 players from Alula bearing down upon them, a 4th to join them pretty swiftly too. Nades not quite connecting on the first form of the hold, but 2 immediate knocks come through, and the flushes are brutal and coordinated. 2 now players for Alula on the back side of this fight, but there is a 3rd party from Go Up the Hill, R3B, now the last to stand for Alula, and Arena hold their nerve with a beautiful 1-2 punch to kick things off, and a lovely shutdown from Turney K for the final elim there. There was no way to get into that compound.
No, not for love nor money. Couldn't brute force their way through, but talking of which, look who's in the back line. GOAT team's representative, the solo, a force, arcs the nade through the doorway to try and deal damage. That's going to be the spread from the molly, making it uncomfortable. Another one bounces just off the periphery, trying to thread the needle. A further Molotov goes in, keeping them guessing. 3 nades in the back pocket as well to cycle those over. E-Arena sat, just hoping this shrapnel won't end them as they cower in the building.
More nades being layered on down here from Force. In the meantime, players around them looking to move away from this fight because the circle's gone southeast and you do need to get out. A bounce on the final nade, and in he goes. The DBS in hand, looks for one, but he can't even connect on the first. And E-Arena stay alive as 3. They have to get a move on though, Jackie. They've got 30 seconds, or well, a little bit less now to move before this zone is going to shut them out.
Decent distance to try and conquer as well to get over there, so it's not an easy pathway for them. The solo representative of Go team there having it all blow up in his face. Ironic after how many nades he throws. But it is what it is. And E-Arena, if you thought you'd finally have a safe exit path, no chance to egress yet as DK come back in for even more. 5 nades in the back pocket. Let's see if he can do better than Goat on these. Chuck in one straight through the doorway. Smoke out as well to provide some semblance of cover for them. Easy for Bad Boy trying his luck. They're low, they're trapped. I mean, they're going to be ushered out by the zone. You've got Cycloud up on top as well for Yangon with potential chance on the periphery. Are they even going to get out here, John? They try and jump in the vehicle.
They got a lot of distance already. 2 players from E-Arena moving away. Schweppes may be the sacrificial lamb. They have a vehicle that they stowed earlier or were aware of earlier. Geeky are taking shots from the off angle. I mean, Geeky are spending a lot of time outside of the zone to try and make this one happen. The fact that they've let 2 players get away and they're taking shots from a 3rd party is quite nasty. Schweppes may be able to hop into a vehicle and get into this one depending on what sort of stim condition he's in and if he's taken too much damage. But yeah, for E-Arena, I feel like Geeky may have overcommitted for it, and instead they're losing more than they gained by quite a long way.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the knock-on effect, right? Smile just being able to third party onto this with the backup of Saycloud further ahead. So for E-Arena, been trapped for so long. Every time they get past one squad, another one comes over to punish them once again. So they're farming points off the back of this with Mormon going down to the play zone. Schweppes barely pushed out. But there's a timeline where he's the only survivor left for Geeky. Fragmented off the back of their engagement. Results in the last man falling to dopeness.
Ooh, north side, 7-2-1, GS and Tiamba going toe-to-toe, and right now, Tiamba don't seem to have anything in the back pocket because they've only got 1 player now left standing all the way on the outside. And could our top team finally take a tumble? With 3 elims, they'd be going down with just the 1 placement point. He's trapped out in the blue, behind the shack. Gets the first aid, and the smokes are there. Might be able to dart forwards, but he's already taking a lot of damage, and the blue zone's right on top of him. Jackie, it's gonna tick, it's gonna do it. And Malik gets the final blow. Finally, he's able to take it down. Oh, it's actually the play zone, so it was the play zone tick to take down Tianba. 3 elims, couple points. They're up to 49 now. Still a very hefty total.
Cut short the storyline of a triple from Tianba, but does open the door for other squads to raise themselves higher up in the standings now. Potentially a game where Furia could keep some of this good trend we've seen going. Non-Shin Red Force, they've been pretty blessed by the circle crunches we've had over the course of this one. Haven't realistically had to vie too much for control. Still got good compound setup as well.
I feel like this north side could potentially be quite leverageable for a deep run into the game. It may not be a winning position, but it would have been brilliant for Tiamba if they'd been able to hold it to convert another strong game. They lost a player earlier on, though, to RRQ, and I feel like that was kind of the major the major changing point, that inflection point for the squad. Losing that one player, they lost the ability to have the full force resistance against a full crash that came through from 721 GS. And if they'd had 4 players, I think that would have been a different story. And they could have been the ones on this north side looking to line everyone up as they roll forwards.
Sight for sore eyes for the Alpha 7 fans, you'd imagine as well. Still alive in this game right now. They have the 5 elims to their name. Ooh, Ravo with a peek out. That's the hovercraft gone, and one more member of Yangon Galacticos, taking them down to a triple threat with a backdoor assault as well from Furia onto the sightline. Getting a bit more scary.
Landing not quite on top, goes a little bit too far there. Igors wants to try and connect, but I mean the damage is pouring in from Furia, from Alpha 7, and Yangon Galacticos are trapped. There's nowhere for them to go. There is no easy way to move forwards. I think that might be E-Arena out as well in the meantime. Up in second place on the overall standings, but Furia, I think, now guaranteed to be surpassing them. Yangon Galacticos want to try and stop them though at this point, and they send straight over the top. Furia are going to have to face off, but Yangon Galacticos not quite able to punch through. Igor's still left down in the dirt. The drop down's just too strong. Yangon cannot get it done.
Furia fighting 2 for now and looking damn good whilst doing it too, but you've got to get your man back up. He's been a huge part of the roster, but taking shots from RRQ might cut that storyline short for them and leave them in a worse position. It's good damage. Here's the push up though. Oh, the nade over from Chief. The Spear of Furia strikes into RRQ.
And there go the rounds, finding that flush as well. There is a knock over onto Igors. Oh, sorry, the flush coming through. And Ayala does go down as well. Silence trying to make a break for it. Out wide, can't quite connect with the front bumper, but draws some fire, gives some protection, makes a little distraction. Chief is going to fall, and RRQ are going to win out on this trade. In the meantime, a massive flex out coming through from Nongshim Red Force. Really timely as well to flex away from their position, to get involved, get stuck in, and will be able to clip the wings of Alpha 7 somewhat, losing at least one. But there is a knock, there is a response. However, Obscure also takes that tumble, and Tizzy could potentially find this res if Revo and Carrillo can't get a position, and Lapar could stop them doing just that.
They've got the hillside peak onto it. Ravo exposed from the backside. Looking good. Oh, it's an easy takedown as well onto Obscure that was knocked prior. Such little HP left to play with for Alpha 7. They're not going to be remaining alive for much longer at this point. The split from Nongshim was well-timed and well-executed. Carrillo, all that remains. Oh, barely missing on the drive up. Trying to bonnet in with a vehicle. Firing off warning shots, but that's all they are. Just warnings as they're gone again. Out in 4th place on this one, leaving our top 3 squads remaining.
What a timing on that for Nongshim Red Force as well. That flex out down to the south, really, really instrumental. It gets rid of Alpha 7, and it felt like maybe they were going to lose 1 or 2 players there, but the RRQ peak over the ridgeline kept Nongshim safe, and they have managed to get that res, get back to their compound, and back, more crucially, to the circle as it shifts all the way up north, and RRQ are going to have to make a mad dash here.
Yeah, Nongshim licking their lips right now with how they played this one. Early game was good for them. Weren't really contested too much. RRQ getting hit by the zone as well, so it's just getting messy out there.
I think they're just going to leave him for RRQ. They're playing as 2. They're already sprayed out in the open. Another knock sent their way. And 721 GS want to take down the player on the south side. Rayan should have angles on this. But there are shots being fired back. Nongshim Red Force do have the toe sight, and will be able to clip those nails. And that's going to leave RRQ out now. A 4 versus 3 from the position that Tiamba were holding against Nongshim, who have been in this spot for the longest time.
721 GS had some moments of greatness in the group stage. It feels like if they want to try and revitalize themselves and prove that they can go further, fight for an opportunity into finals, this is a game they need to win to get themselves in that headspace. For Nongshim, it's more of that consistent force. A team that we know can go above and beyond in a position to do just that, with the advantage of not only their position, but the numbers as well. Battle of attrition on their side, John.
This is a jump up to second place on the cards for Nongshim Red Force. And for 721 GS, it's a chance to try and join closer towards the top 6. Early doors on the tournament does mean there is incredible amounts of volatility on the tables. And Nongshim would love to try and rise above that. That's exactly what they're looking to do here. TC with the flex out, even though the monster truck's gone up in smoke, is brilliant because there's still 2 players who have to crest this ridge, who have to get across the road for 721 GS. And when they do, it's open season. Nongshim are going to be on the hunt.
There's been some great reactions out of them as well. So if it comes to a fair fight, I feel like I've got to back them from some of the angles we've seen, man. A lot of talent. Gunplay's through the roof right now for this team. Coaching staff watching on as well. Fingers crossed and hoping for the best result for the squad. Seems like there's still a decent amount of utility left in the back pockets there for 721. It's going to be the smokes over, create a pathway, smoke wall up on the roadside. Vehicle to play with for the rotate.
Do they have to cover though? Can they get there safely? The cannons start to fire. The nades are pouring in from TZ on that off angle. They know that he is a vulnerable position for Nongshim Red Force. So if they can get into nade range of him, that might change the dynamics of this circle, Jackie, because Nongshim Red Force also do need to move forwards. They haven't managed to deal a blow to strike a player down on that crossing. So now they need to go a little bit more bread and butter.
Thing is, if they're thinking Tizzy's the vulnerability, I think in reality he might be the volatility they need to open this one up. You expose yourself for even a second, that off angle, he's so damn crisp with it, he's going to be punishing you towards the side. These nades as well, every time just eating away at them, draining out some of that additional medical utility. That circle's going to start to crunch him. Really going down to the wire on this one.
Nongshim do have the more central position with their forward spots here. Not too sure how many nades are in the back pocket for 721 GS, but XZY launches one forwards. Doesn't quite go the distance. TZ also lobbing it on in. The volley starts to come on through. Remember, the numbers are still in the advantage of Nongshim Red Force. Oh, that looked quite good. That was from Hyunbin on the back lines. TZ starts to move and Alico clips him, immediately shutting him down. A really good opener, but there's a nade in response, and Hyunbin connects again up into the sky. Oh, he bounces it down. Alico's going to be forced out wide, but no one's looking. No one's ready for it. The flush comes through to Malik, and it's a 2v3.
Scary scenes off the back of that. Panic stations. Fumbles with an 8. Looking for the reset on the follow-up. That's the last one. Dashed in towards Nongshim, hoping to deal some decent damage. They're being constantly peppered by these. Molotov goes over as well.
Good nade.
Just decent damage, but no conversion. Another peek back out. Rahan falls. This isn't looking great now. Down to a solo, trapped in an awkward angle. Shots over. Can't quite find it. It's not enough as Nongshim see red and get that one done. The aggression pays off. Taking the chicken dinner in game 3.
Some really timely maneuvers coming through from Nongshim Red Force. That flex out to the south with the duo to have an impact on the fight with Alpha 7 was so important. RRQ as well were forced to stay on that south side. The subsequent circle shift all the way up to the north does help them out immensely, but even if it had gone south, they had that outpost. They had that opportunity to move forwards. They chose their timing perfectly, and every single step, it felt like they were in control. It felt like they knew what they were doing, and they had a backup plan in case it didn't go to it.
Good signs of life there. A team that, again, we know can rise to the occasion. On the side of that game, they rolled the dice perfectly with what they were given. Really loved that one split where they pushed out as well, right? That was kind of a pivotal play where you saw not only are they happy to just play with their cards close to their chest, but if they need to split off, take aggression to a team that, if got far into that game, like Alpha 7, we know they're very volatile. They can make big plays. You've silenced that early. You've not left it in their hands, John, which makes a big difference for them.
Absolutely. I mean, you take away agency from other teams, you're going to be in a much more predictable scenario. You're going to be able to find those paths to victory much, much easier, even if you have a little bit more of a branching diagram, right? You are aware of exactly where you need to be going. Triple thumbs up. Not going to get the 4th, Jackie. That would be silly. It's only match 3.
It was on point, on brand. 3rd game, 3rd chicken dinner, 3 thumbs. It's basic maths, John.
The numbers agree. they have been crunched. Just like every other team under the boot of Nongshim Red Force during that last game. Really, really nice stuff. They were obviously in that compound for a very long time. They didn't need to make a lot of decisions during the mid-game, which was really quite safe for them. It was very homely, I'm sure. So good news on that front. But it does take a really strong team to not get super comfortable in that, and that's kind of why I'm focusing so much on that flex out to the south, right? Because it means that they were permanently, constantly, unrelentingly thinking, when do we go? Where do we go? Who are we targeting? What are we going to achieve with a flex out? That sort of thought line is exactly what we want to see from a team looking to make their bid to get in the finals and a chance to win that oh so special trophy.
It's a beautiful bit of kit. An amazing trophy, obviously the pride of it as well. Taking the event, putting your emblem inside the middle portion there that you can see is currently open for any of our teams. Still the potential of a previous champion doing it again. But come the end of tomorrow, John, that chance could end for not one of our previous champions, but both of them. They're both here, they're both fighting in the survival stage. Will they make it out? Time will tell. We'll find out later.
मेरा भी डेस है एक एचपी
Çok güzel arkadan bir tane Emir kaldı. Araba sür. Burada kaldı. Araba sür. Bana vermesin. Ben sürüyorum. Gel beraber devam edelim gel. Sür. Araba sür. Nice oğlum. Çak! Vai junto.
Dentro de baixo.
Tiene. Boa, caralho! Porra! Gue kiri dia. Nomor gak? Aneh bener anjing. Yubi. La, ya pelita kera la. La.
Dia. Leva entrada.
Nice yalla.
Bora.
Finish.
Leva ali.
Alan dışı kaldı. Sağda kimde kaldı? Nice sağ kaldı. Önde aynen orada. Helal lan.
好的，欢迎来到 Aramco 的实力排行榜。我们今天也是邀请到了 AGL 的选手来给我们现在桌子上的这些战队，然后做一个评级。来，你们现在看上哪个 logo 了？先来一个 Godlike，
跟颜色，
就意思是 C 是吗？OK。Alpha Seven
吧。
Alpha
评个
Seven
B 吧，毕竟没进决赛嘛。
我没说话，刚才说的。
今年是今年，
刚
去年是
刚才说的。我跟谁？
好，下一位 IDA Esports
D，
D，
这个往上点，这个
YG
给个 S 吧，
上届冠军
给个 S 吧。
GK
C，
下一个
这个 F，
这个 F 很配啊，这个。
好 UF
给个 B 吧，
给个 B 吧。
好，接下来 Aurora 老熟人，
给个 S 吧。
这个 S 啊。
好 S 已经有2位了。
40，
这个不是很猛吗？
对啊。
那直接给到 S。
A 跟 S 中间呗。
我觉得这个应该给到 S 吧，都这么。
还有这么多呢。
没事啊，下面也很
就凭人家是冠军，行。
RQ
给到 B。
OK， 这个放哪儿
？F，
这个放到1吧，高那个 S 突击1等就行了，压他一头够了啊。
只需要压他一头。接下来
这个给到康吧。
康。
哇，这 S 有点太多了。
这个
来排个第一。
这个 A 吧。 这个
小蜜蜂，
那 B 跟 A 的中间呗，B 加
B 跟 A 的中间，我觉得 A 比 S 还要珍贵啊！现在，
马上又来了
，EA 来了
A
必须得 A 啊！
因为它对比带 A 是吧？
这个直接
这个怎么说
S 加，必须是压那个偶尔那个黑豹一坨，稍微挪一下，挪到一边。
这样子吗
对
哦，懂你意思，懂你意思。
这个更别说了。
这个呢，龙溪
刚 S 刚有一个空位啊
NGX，
给个 A 吧
，A 吧。
接下来 Hora，
给个 D 吧。
反正现在每个等级都有，
对，我觉得贴很完美。
很完美，
很完美，没有要变的了。
没有。
是的。
那这就是我们 AGL 的选手现在定下来的评级了，不知道大家怎么看呢？
Where am I? Here I am, baby. We're currently at the Fan Expo for PUBG Mobile in Naruto. There's a lot of awesome stuff going on here. If you guys want to check it out, it's currently open from August 11th through August 16th. Come check out the awesome collaborations between them, PUBG Mobile, Naruto, and a bunch more as we have just a random man flying by. You didn't even get a chance to see that one. Maybe you'll see it again later on. But we're going to talk about Nanshin Red Force. We're joined by Barney, Maxman, and another, the Neptura. Nanshin Red Force with an amazing gameplay in that last game, having to do pretty much absolutely nothing throughout the first half of the game, and then afterwards actually being proactive about it.
Yeah, I mean, Nanshin Red Force dropping Razen shurikens all over the place here on Orangle. Very excited to see a win, but despite that being a win, it was not a very impressive win because they dropped farm. They literally play there the entire game. It was kind of a gifted game for them, but you know what? I'll take it. If it gets me an opportunity to see them in the finals, I'm biased. I don't care. It's a win.
You know what? You heard it here first, folks. But oh, and there he goes again.
That was so fast. I don't know who it was.
Speedy. Who is that?
Who was that, bud? It was me.
He doesn't know either. It's fine. It's fine.
What is this segment, by the way?
Just a fun segment. Welcome to PMWC at EWC 26. What were you going to say, Natura?
No, I was just going to say, yes, they were heavily gifted this win. Heavily. However, Tizzy, being that anchor point, is what won them the game. And I will say that you are looking at a team that knows how to play this game. That's all I gotta say, right? Because Tizzy moving up to that rock, making sure that he's that anchor point, allowing his teammates to push forward into nade range onto 721, so that even when Tizzy did get knocked, it didn't matter. The game was already won. So that kind of synergies, that kind of gameplay was really, really nice to see. And it made it more of a win than just being gifted that win. They made that win happen.
They did make that win happen. TC with the off angles, and then 7-1 helping them out by just absolutely fumbling a nade. If you do all that kind of stuff, you'll definitely be able to get a win. But you were asking, what is this segment? Let me just give a quick reminder of what's going on. This is the Fan Zone experience for PUBG Mobile lovers. So make sure you guys come check it out. As I said earlier, open August 11th through the 16th. You can come here, maybe get some cool Naruto bandanas, maybe get some extra swag, check out some of the other collaborations currently going on, and with some prizes. But oh, what, you got that one from here?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this man is
nice.
swagged out.
It's mine. Don't touch it.
But Barney, while we have you here, when you come into survival stage, we usually have to talk about the mentality of some of these players, right? Because there is no second chance after this one. It is make it to top 6 or go home. And some of those squads are currently making sure they put them that performance here on survival stage.
It's true, yeah, as your hat comes flying off your head. I think that one of the things to take note of the most is the mentality coming into the survival stage is very different. Now, we're seeing teams like Tiamba who only managed to get 49 points in the group stage. However, coming off the back of that, like they've already managed to conquer those 49 points in the space of 3 games out of the 12. So it's really impressive to see the adjustments made coming into the survival stage, and I think Ala managed to put their best foot forward, but they kind of tapered off a little bit. But the team to focus on right now is kind of Alpha 7. They're moving with hesitation, they're not moving with confidence, so the synergy is slightly off. It seems like they keep getting themselves in a pinch, and this is what was causing them issues in the group stage as well. So Neptura, I think that Alpha 7 needs to step it up a gear, or at least move with some sort of confidence.
I agree, and I also want to point out Fury as well as another team that I want to see step up a little bit. They're doing better, but it's just not the same. That it was a very weird push around from Silence to be coming over into that vehicle, moving away from his team just as they're getting pushed, then trying to come back for a distraction thing. But really the better option would have been an off angle. We should have seen Silence able to have an off angle play and then try and help his teammates. In the way he kind of abandoned them, that's what it felt like. And so I want to see that sort of tactic being shaped up a little bit to actually help them, not hinder them.
I gotta say though, looking at the end of this game, especially with the replay, it's 7-2-1, sure, don't get themselves the chicken dinner, but the smokes to deny vision from all of Nongshim Red Force as they tried to leave their own compound. Again, that they've had pretty much the entirety of this game was very impressive. So 7-2-1, despite not getting a win, very excited to see if they can do more in the next coming games.
Yes, we're looking at the overall ranking right now. You can see Tiamba with the performance that they had earlier, continuing on at the top there. Nongshim Red Force with that win, they do end up jumping up, but a team that I'm happy to see here, two teams actually, Max, that I'm happy to see here is none other than Furia and RRQ.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. RRQ in particular, a team that can be very topsy-turvy. Here, the entry point to the eastern side, it was very easy for them to hold it because no one even tried to contest it away from them the entire time. But their third party on the likes of Furia, Yangon Galacticos, Alpha 7 was absolutely beautiful. Then the Circle had a different plan in mind, which is forcing them downhill, which as we saw there, it's really hard for them to make it work out. So overall, very happy with them. And Miramar in particular, I need to see some RRQ presence.
Yeah, we need to see some. RRQ actually, they ended up doing a cool rotation a little bit towards the end of the game where they ended up going south. It seemed like they were going to be a bit too passive, but then we saw the aggressiveness out of them. And I'm loving that we're getting more people, more stuff from PUBG Mobile just joining us here. Got a cool how's your day going? Pew, pew. Okay, cool. Hey, that's what's up, man.
I tell you what, though, I've got to say, a team to look out for today is GOAT Team. They're one of those teams that will consistently be putting up numbers in every single game. There's nothing flashy about them. They will always just keep putting up numbers, though.
But they've only got 3 placement points, which is very interesting. So more eliminations are good, but I want to see more like top 5 finishes. If they do that, Barney, agreed, they are a very scary team.
Aggressiveness. That's what it is with that team. They're going to be able to see it. Barney, I think you have something to do after this one, so... Oh, and he's gone. Well, thanks for joining us, Barney. Hopefully you have fun at this stage. I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing you there shortly. He could have just done the, what's the name of that jutsu, Max? Where you just end up appearing?
Shadow clone jutsu, you want to do? Like you create yourself a clone of yourself and you disappear?
Hey, we did that for the PUBG Mobile guide. They were able to kind of show up here.
Play an unknown jutsu right now. Look at that. Yeah.
Any teams that have surprised you today, Natura, besides the obvious ones?
For me, Yangon. The Yangon are back to their day one of the group stage that we saw. I was saying they have a lot more presence. And so far, over the last few games, we have seen that return after their second day where they just were non-existent again. Really liked how they played the southeast side there, Seven. They were really, really heavy on those splits. SayCloud moving over to, who was it? Who was going over there? The EA GOAT fight off onto the western side. He was monitoring that fight, regrouping, trying to make a push happen. So very, very sort of aggressive in that mentality, aggressive in that gameplay, even if it's not super aggressive onto actual players.
Yangon, honestly, it's a defending champions here at PMWC. I would like to see them in the finals just because we haven't gotten a chance to see them at all since last PMWC when we talk about PUBG Mobile Esports global event. And one team that's actually surprising us in a bad way here, Max, and we have to talk about them.
No.
It's Ulf.
No, yeah, it's pretty bad. But genuinely, look at their rotations. They get not terrible positions, but the main issue is, and this is something that is a main issue for Ulf going into all of their tournaments, they're a team that sometimes they go dead center of the circle, but they're not super playable. Sometimes you see them in a shed, you'll see them around a tree or a rock, and the moment teams have a point of contention around you, they spot an angle on your entire squad, they get instantly eliminated. I kind of want to see Ulf play a bit more edge. I feel like edge playstyle is actually what suits Ulf the best, and that's what we saw from him back in PMGC last year, even PMGO Season 1 in Jakarta. They were getting so many points because of that edge playstyle. Center here, if it's not a solid position, like I'm talking, it's not a compound, they're just going to get decimated right away. And Ulf, in a lobby of this caliber 7, we know you're going to struggle if you don't have a good spot to play from.
Which is crazy too, because it's usually one of those teams that we're able to see them being even more aggressive. They're able to, especially with what you're saying, when they're able to play edge, they are going to be able to take full advantage of that. But right now, them not being able to play how we've seen them in the past is not working for them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same with Furia when you're talking about that edge play, that edge rotation, that spread coming on through. They're not being as aggressive as the lobby is demanding, and that's the real problem here, is because they want to play slowly, and the lobby is just like, no, we're playing too fast for that. You've got to keep up or you're going to go out.
Yeah, and that's hopefully what's going to be happening as we have hit the halfway mark of day one survival stage here at PMWC at EWC 26. But I'm wanting to watch the game, so we're just going to send it over to Barney and Luti. I'm out of here.
Looty. Back
tell
we
me,
are.
Bunny.
Back we are. The survival stage. What
Yep.
does survival mean to you?
I mean, just survive with the minimum you can have, you know?
Surviving with the minimum. That's interesting. Okay, Looty, I'd like to ask you, how long do you think you'd be able to survive, like, on this stage, just by yourself? What would you need?
I mean, like, 4 days. I just need a little bit of food, I guess. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, you got food. You get one other thing. What else
Only
did you
one?
have? Yeah, one.
I mean, just a bottle of waters.
A bottle of water. Oh, it appears like your dreams have come true.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is cool, isn't it? Right,
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow, mate. Enjoy.
But Bonnie, it was like it was just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor. I'm not gonna stay on stage. It's a small bottle. Okay, I will figure out. Back to you, casters. I need another one. Bonnie!
Let's get it going as we're getting ready for the final 3 matches of day 1 of the survival stage. I'm on Jukes here with my man Blake, and we are ready to go here.
There we are. It's been a good time so far. Tiamba currently,
Yes,
they are.
hitting everybody with that forbidden jutsu. You know what I'm talking about?
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, because they are dominating the lobby. It's about time, man. I mean, Tiamba was a team I had going into this one, automatic lock to the finals. To even see them here in the survival stage has been pretty wild to me. But it's about time we see them make it happen here.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I think for Tiamba, this is already a fantastic start. They just need to keep on working, keep on grinding. I think right now QZ's kind of feeling it. So is Milu. Milu's doing wonderful work. I think Maxim was rightly highlighting him earlier on in the day. We are getting in towards our 4th match though, hitting up Erangel. We are over from that eastern side down towards the south and over up Noya. It's a little bit of an awkward one to work with here, Hot Jukes, but we have had pretty much disgusting plane paths followed by disgusting circles the entirety of EWC 2026 here at PMWC. So I didn't expect anything less.
Yeah, these zones have just been relentless. It's unbelievable. You know what? But it's all about being able to adapt, able to make those plays and make it happen. So we're looking right now at the overall ranking. We're only looking at top 6. It's top 6 that move on. Everybody else is going home here. So right now that cutoff is going to be GOAT with 22 points. It's going to be really up to these teams down below to start turning things up right now. I think they've kind of already burned through the bad games that they can have.
If there's anything to go by our previous groups, though, we're kind of looking at 85 points, roughly.
Sure.
Don't quote me on that in future, but I think for what we saw going into top 5 in what was a pretty tough group, we were looking at 95. There was that point sponge over at the top side in Vitality, though, so maybe 85 to 90 points overall for 6th, and it goes up from there. Right now, Tiamba, they're pretty close to hitting that. They need like 40 more points on the day, which is a ridiculous next 3 games for any team. But they could lock themselves in fairly easily at the end of today, and that really does take a lot of the stress off. So any more points they can get right now, he's fantastic. They're starting off wonderfully over towards Yaz. It's an early dropout as well, so they get very looted very quickly. Then it's a case of just figuring your way out over towards that western edge. But there are a couple more teams we do need to talk about. RQ, for instance, goodness me, good job to them. I think that although they haven't been massively loud in these games, some decent rotates, some good presence in these endgame circles. Nothing insane just yet, but I think for RQ this feels like a much more comfortable ride. You know, we got the suspension going at the moment for RQ. Let's just keep that happening. Let's stay on the smooth roads.
Yeah, speaking of, you know what? Where we're going, we don't need roads. As you can see, Yasser already getting in the glider off the rip here. He's going to be keeping an eye over Severny. But you know what? You guys need to make sure you keep an eye in game and get that Uzumaki Naruto event going. Get that Ninetales Fury AUG. You definitely want to get your hands on that before it is gone. And you can see Yasser, he said, okay, I got the glider, I got my Murado, we are ready to go here.
Yeah, no reason to stick around much longer. I mean, they made a quick approach over towards Severny, get yourself the loot truck if you can. It's going to be a little bit late for it, but they should be all right. For Alula, though, Severny, a lot of options towards the future, but we're likely moving down towards Fields, Gakaway, Pachinki, so they do have to shove through quite a few teams that have layered themselves over towards the top side of Rozhok and beyond. That's Yasnaya. Beyond is Yasnaya Ruin.
That is correct.
South George, yeah. Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows
That's
that.
a classic.
Yeah, it is the classic. So, I mean, this is kind of a, it's good to see a more normalish circle here. About time.
Well, actually,
you know?
Yeah.
It's about time we actually see one here. So I think these teams are kind of breathing a sigh of relief. And now it's time for, to kind of get rid of any excuses, especially for these teams down in that bottom 8 to really start playing catch up here, because Rondo has just been proving that map that it's just such a wild card for all these squads. We saw a 39-point game for E-Arena in just one single one. So, yeah, teams at the bottom could have a crazy pop-off match, but a team at the top could do it as well. So, I think if you have the opportunity, like a normal circle here, you got to take advantage of it.
You do. I think right now is an easy time to be going for something a little bit more casual, a little bit more chilled out. For Wolves, hey, you're not their biggest fan at the moment, which is totally understandable. It's understandable. It's totally understandable. There has been some, let's say, minor mistakes here and there from Wolves, but this is a good start for them. And I think it always has been difficult as time goes on with those kind of circles. If you're not experienced, you don't have that idea of how to play that at a lobby this level, you are going to get caught out. But this is a big chance. Now for Wolves, if they go out pretty early here, I think we can safely say to ourselves, it's not likely happening over the next couple of days, because this is a big chance for them.
Yeah, it really is. And you have to utilize these opportunities here. You're not given them very often. And if you can't even capitalize on something like this, it's just a terrible, terrible sign. I mean, yeah, we have seen some miracles happen in the past, but with how consistent this lobby is already kind of showing, because, that was the problem when I saw the list for the survival stage. I was looking at some of these team names, and I was like, this is a problem, right? We got our previous champions here, right? We've got our PMGC champions here. We have our PMMI champions here, right? It's like... and then it's like Champ City. You got Tianba, who almost won PMMI, and so many other great names as well. So yeah, you just can't afford to slip here at this stage. And that Wolves play in the group stage of accidentally hitting that rock.
Yeah, that upset you, dude.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness Baton hit the most ridiculous head pan shot out of a vehicle I have ever seen. To
it's like minus 1,000 aura and then plus 1,001.
Literally, it's evened out. But if they don't make it to finals here, it's going right back down, dude. Oh.
Yeah, I think for definitely, I will say honestly, Elementrix has been impressing me. There's been some good moments. I think if Wolves take anything away from this event, it's definitely team cohesion.
Sure.
I think individually all these players are fairly decent, but we don't see these crazy team plays coming out from them. We don't see them work together massively well. I still think they should be very, very proud to be here and getting through to survival stage though, because this is a really tough tournament. I mean, you just highlighted the amount of champions we have in survival stage. Very cool, by the way. But yeah, I do think because the circles were so insane over towards groups, some teams were able to get in that maybe wouldn't have been able to before, but you could look back on the circles and I think there was a lot of deserved wins, honestly.
Oh, sure.
I think it was just hard. It was a very, very competitive current lobby at the moment. This is a very fun survival stage. This doesn't feel like we're really just culling the necessary amount of teams. It's like we're going to say goodbye to some real heavy hitters here. Some teams that, honestly, I would have liked to have seen through to the finals. We still got one more day left, though. Okay, I don't have to shed any tears just yet.
Yeah, one more day is definitely a good opportunity for these teams to get it done. And it's so crazy, right? And I think the big reason on top of it why we see so many monster squads in this lobby is because in the group stage, good games were okay. We saw just something special that just made things so wild. I mean, Team Vitality on day one. Dude, Vitality was just absolutely insane. I remember talking to all these different coaches and players and be like, hey, what do you guys think about Vitality's day one performance? And the answer was always, what the? And then you just fill in the blank,
Yeah, bro. 100%.
It was just shock and awe. I don't even know what to even say to it. And I mean, you really can't say much.
No, you can't. Well, I think for Vitality's performance, it was one of those things where there isn't much to say. It's like it is shock and awe. That's essentially what it is. I think there's not much to be said in terms of what they did wrong or what they did right, because it's just a case of you guys played out your minds. When we see you winning, we're just happy for you. We're just happy for you.
Yeah,
it sucks that we're going to struggle to make our way in now, but goodness me, you guys definitely deserved it. It made Group B very, very difficult for some other teams. We had such a tight, knit top 5 when it came down to it. A lot of teams like sitting on that 90-point border up towards, I think, 3rd place, because I believe it was only really Godlike who were able to break out of that 3-digit boundary, get up there. But yeah, everyone else was struggling. It was right down to that last game, which did shift up the rankings massively and led to E-Arena being here now.
Unreal, dude. Honestly, like that's like probably what frustrates me the most, dude. Like I couldn't believe it. Like E-Arena, 39-point game 1. How do you break a record like that and just still not make it to the finals? I'm glad I wasn't on the desk there, because I would have gone absolutely crazy. But oh, here we go. We're getting to the action. It's Tiamba once again catching out Arula quick. Ooh, Yasser getting punished as well. Tiamba not messing around here on rotation. Also the feed, we see 721GS getting to it with the Wolves. That's ringing out back and forth. Looks like one of the Wolves players does get thirsted, so they're going to be stuck with 3. Man, there's that crazy fight going on here, because now we see 721 getting in with RRQ. There's a battle going on all back and forth.
Well, it totally makes sense. When you get the circle come down towards the south side, there's a lot of fielded over towards the northwest and down towards the south. There's some very key compounds, some very key areas of the map you want to take control of around these trees. And we already know from watching groups, these players and these teams are not afraid to get stuck in 4 strong areas of the map. And it does cut out a lot of players quite quickly. 721GS, they went down. They struggled off the back of it. Right now, Ulf is trying to rotate on through. Geek's finding shots over towards Tiamba. They do lose 1 player because of that. But yeah, everyone wants a strong spot inside the circle. It's just amused me that Tiamba's taking a lot of damage. They're currently playing around Pachinki. I don't think they expected players to be up towards Church right now, taking shots off of this one. But fair enough to Geek. It's a good, well-laid trap.
Yeah, they're going to hold this spot for as long as they possibly can. Oh, Marnet getting popped on the roof there. And he's going to go ahead and get back to safety. Fight timing is what it's all about here at this stage, especially in the survival stage. You kind of get into one of these engagements just a little too early on rotation. Boom, you're getting 3rd partied, 4th partied by all these teams that are just desperately hunting eliminations. So sometimes it is a little bit better to try to avoid those fights, unless you know for sure we could finish it out like really, really quick. But it just goes to show you, these rotations are not simple, especially when Team C finally a like normalish zone, right? It's like,
well, I want the best spot.
Yeah,
I want the best spot right now.
Best spot. Yeah, not second best, the best.
Yeah, you sort of know how to play these circles. They're not awkward. They're not like split-second decisions. These teams have studied for this type of thing. But yeah, heading down towards the south side, it does feel a bit rough. For Alpha 7, they're currently trying to play off the back of the high ground that's out towards the eastern side of Quarry. But they have since left. Obscure still left behind, quite far away. But we will get our next circle coming in through soon. Where does it head up here, Jukes?
Oh, I think we just go dead center. Oh, okay, we go a little bit up on the northern side. Okay, we got a Pachinki field finish. Right to the right side of Chopsticks from Gatka. You can already see some teams pushing in immediately. You got Alpha 7 there on that left edge, most likely going to wrap all the way to that north side towards Ruins. But man, that Ruins position, not really the best, especially if that circle decides to back on south. You know, when I see EWC, you know what it reminds me of, Blank?
What?
It reminds me of like those days when you were doing your homework, preparing for a test.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the test happens and it's like nothing you studied for.
Yeah, they switched out the papers. Yeah, that's the worst.
You're like,
that is the worst.
I spent hours studying these certain maps, these little areas, and then all of a sudden the zones are just going crazy here. You know, now we're starting to get back to a little bit of the core material. The zone is bouncing back and forth a little bit, you know, but finally it's something that seems familiar here. I think that's why we're seeing so many teams so quick on the rotate.
Yeah, these were in the footnotes.
Yeah.
We had these. I was able to revise. I'm good to go. So a lot of teams are ready to send in them towards here. A lot of teams trying to avoid Pachinki though, which is making a little bit of a vacuum on that northeastern side. Just because no one really wants to send towards Pachinki too early on. You get trapped out there. Very bad time trying to leave. You could play the rooftops potentially and have a little bit of presence, but I think most squads are realizing that this is not the play to go for. KRX down towards the south side. Not a terrible spot. They're out on the cusp of the fields. This is a decent area to work with. It does sit underneath the high ground that a lot of teams aren't really heading over towards just yet. They'd rather try and
locate a little bit of a safer position to play. You don't want to be in the open because teams might just end up starting to crash you at that point in time. GOAT team also will find a little bit of a tricky rotation from that south side because they need to move up full through the fields. The biggest thing I'm most interested in right now is this split from RRQ. They are trying to control the majority of that western side.
Yeah, that's a crazy split, to be honest. Like, I think, yeah, just trying to find some intel, waiting for this next circle to decide where things are going to end up. I'm finally seeing a little bit more traditional kind of circle rotations from Alpha 7. Once they saw that northern shift, they hugged that circle all the way up to the top. So they're going to be taking the blues up here, as we can see. And
yeah.
Very, very OG from them. But, man, what's going on with them in their end games right now? They've just been struggling. They can get into some decent fights, but even in the last game or this game before, we saw, you know, Carrillo, Revel driving, hitting these crazy shots out of the car. I feel like if they just kind of go back to the basics, you'll see them really perform to their maximum level.
It sort of used to feel like teams would avoid Alpha 7. Like, that's a team you didn't really want to bump into. And I think for especially Miramar, a lot of times they kind of suffocated teams out. We do get a northern shift on this one, which means that Alpha 7's not in a terrible spot. They do control the majority of that northern side. They will regroup on this one, trying to hold out teams, trying to swing around. But yeah, I don't think we've seen much times in the past like Revo and Carrillo just dry pushing, no smokes, no nothing over towards a location. Felt like a bit of a desperation move, so we'll wait and see. Again, as we know, they are trying to work some new tactics in right now to make it work.
That's pretty wild to me. I mean, I think right now you're in the survival stage. Do with what you know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you're ahead by 100 points, then you can go and try whatever the heck you want. But right now, it's just making sure you make it into that top 6. With this circle, though, the crowd is starting to get hyped because they know that this is a beautiful zone for them. And meanwhile, we got some teams that are going to have to be pushing from the south side. You got GOAT trying to find their way in. You got Fudia, Nongshim Red Force as well, looking for a spot in this next circle. And you can already start seeing some players get knocked here. Ulf catching out Claws. And that actually is going to be Al-Ula eliminated. So that is already 3 teams out of here pretty early.
Alpha 7 do find shots over towards Yangon Galacticos. Again, good setup from them. They were trying to cut off a eastern rotate over towards the position. I think for them right now, they understand that they were likely one of the teams that is only on that northern side. Not a lot of other teams had to make that approach. They didn't have much choice in the matter. So for them, they're like, okay, there's going to be some teams probably rotating out from Pachinki here, or at least trying to wrap around on that eastern edge. We sort of know that a team will be holding the compound over towards our southwest side, which is currently RRQ, and this engagement right here, which is going to pop off, but that's not going to endanger Alpha 7. Right now, though, Foosman does walk around the corner. Killer Joe also with the JS9 doing some good work. Go is just cleaning RRQ out. Now, this is the man to be worried about, though. It is Lepar. He's on his own. Might go terribly. We'll see what he's got.
Chops out the vehicle and hits the shot. No way. He jumps through that window and makes it happen. And now you got Force from GOAT. Gonna go ahead and get this res. But a crazy there from the park. And now here comes Irina, quick on the third party, trying to soak up some of these eliminations. Perfect timing as well. GOAT is hurt. They are not looking too hot here. And Turney K up close and personal, looking to catch one of these knocks. Oh, they're instantly thirsting this. They're getting it done. Irina making it happen against GOAT. Perfectly timed, and that is GOAT pretty much done and dusted here.
Great read from E-Arena, honestly, moving in over towards this one. This is a team that knows they need points right now. They do not want to have to go out. Good nade as well around the corner. Tries to make this as easy as possible and get the full cleanup on this. There's nobody nearby. Now, for E-Arena, you do have to think clearly for a second here. They just cleared out 2 teams to the western side. They have so much space to work with. Really good third party off the back of that one. So many teams over towards the eastern side. We had a very eastern playing path to start this off, so they just have a lovely amount of room at the moment. This is beautiful stuff for them.
Beautiful indeed. Yeah, so that west side is clear for E-Arena. They're looking to get some of their aura back after losing it in the group stage. Wolves, though, there we go, starting to make some noise. Next zone does pop on up. This is the blessing that Alpha 7 have been waiting for. Honestly, this is no excuse at this point. A7 need to hunt down a double-digit elimination win here. Let's see if that's something that they can close down. On the side of Pachinki, we got Fudia, though. Ayala up close and personal with AGAL. And the side of Wolves. This is outside the circle. They need to finish this fight fast. Beautiful Molotov. And now AGAL forced to spread thin. But when is Fudia going to make this push? They are hurt really bad, and they got to get it done quickly.
Great scatter, though, coming through from XZZ as well as Flower H. Both went either side on the back of that one, ensured they wouldn't immediately get taken down by a secondary grenade. And they're just going to back this off. They don't want to spend any more time here. They see that Wolves are coming in from the western side. Not bothering to deal with Furia just yet. I mean, AGL is like, why are you chasing us?
Oh, wow.
Go fight that team.
Adios. See ya. We don't want none of this right now. But we'll fight you guys later once we get into this circle. So they set up a nice little car wall here, and they get away. So beautifully played for them. Honestly, that was the right play. They just realized that if we want to extend our life in this game, this is not the place to do it. So now Fudia are on the hunt. Wolves are forced to move on in. KRX was waiting for him, though. Oh, this is a really, really rough push from the Wolves. There's really nowhere to go here, and they are barely making it out alive for now.
For the Wolves, it's a mad send, right? I mean, there was definitely an opportunity there to try and just take the fight to Fury in the first place, clear out that south side, and then play it slow in from the southern edge, then to even look over towards Ulf. So for Wolves, I can see that they're trying to reach for something. For Alpha 7, though, they have a wonderful spot on the map right now. So much space. The entirety of the northern side. They control half the circle here, Dukes. They have to do something big with this. Last game, they were given a ton amount of space on Erangel. Didn't bother trying to clear the south side. They were very hesitant in their approach there. Again, they seem to be only looking over towards the east. I would have loved to see a western rollout here from one of their players, get the lineup, see how much space they can take and what they're working with going into the future. As long as they have information, they should be good, because info at this point is king.
Yes, it is. And Carrillo's going to go ahead and really trying to put his king status on. That man has worn plenty of crowns so far, and they're going to go ahead and punish A7 over there by that tractor. So yeah, A7 completely spreading their wings, and now they're starting to get aggressive, right? They're not just hanging back on the north side. They are getting up close and personal, looking to soak up some of these eliminations. Fudia on the drive, full squad in the vehicle, moving up little by little. KRX is badly hurt here, and Chief's gonna start throwing a lot of util, but Tian, but Eagle with the very, very slim peaks, punishing Fudia.
Yeah, Tiamba know the position they're in. They want to clear out as much as possible. They've caused some casualties right now. AJL, big task ahead of them over towards KRX. Looks like a fairly decently placed grenade. Goes long. Ooh, damage it did there over towards Hoxie. That's rough. Getting another knock there would have been very useful. But Alpha 7 will do the rest of the job. Guizhou, extremely long shot here. But this is the thing, Alpha 7, they have this northern side. They should absolutely just win this game. It's like one of the freest games I've seen in a while. But it's annoying because, right, you give Alpha 7 a game like this, you know they should win. And you know they probably will win as well, Jude.
They have to win. It's not even just they will, right? They have to win this. If they lose this, this is going to be just devastating for everybody that believes in this team. We saw a picture of the crowd right there. They're dancing already. They're jumping. They're already doing the victory lap because they know this one is in the bag. So this is A7's game to lose. Let's see how it all ends up, though. As we look over here towards Slaughterhouse, Geek going to be holding it down with 4 eliminations so far.
Yeah, not a terrible game here from Geek. They started off well. Little trap laid over towards Church. Able to quickly get some shots off. Alpha 7, though, continuing to try and wrap round. They're probably waiting for the circle to pull in from that northern edge. They don't want anyone wrapping on their north side. They'd rather keep everyone on the southern edge towards them, and they can just play full 180 broadside, which is so much easier than trying to deal with snakes in the grass in the late game.
All out A7 has to do is just play old school PUBG Mobile.
Pretty much,
literally,
yeah.
just
very old
school, tried and true. Nothing needed to be done here special. No crazy drives, trying to shoot people out the vehicle. No kind of wild little highlight reel plays. Just work together as a team. That's where Alpha 7 has been so strong. They've been a squad to where, like, if you knock a player, they feel almost impossible to take out. It's like they get 10 times angrier, and we haven't seen that so much in a while, actually. So let's see if they can get to form here. They're playing it very close together. Revel going up a little bit here, trying to find some angles on the Mormon on the tractor. And Mormon hits the deck immediately.
Mormon's underneath. We'll take a volley of fire their way. Alpha 7 at 8 eliminations in this game. This should get them back into the running quite quickly.
Starting to look over at the util right now. Revel, I think I saw him with about 100 rounds, so that should be enough here to finish this game. 8 eliminations so far. This is a dream game for Ace. It's honestly, this is a dream game for anybody in their position, and they're doing very solid here. We'll see where the next circle pops. But right now, everybody just kind of waiting. This is still only Zone 6, but with so much open range, that's why we have so many teams eliminated already.
Hey, for Tampa, though, another fairly decent game. I mean, they're in another top 5 scenario.
I think that's a lock already, honestly.
4 elims. I mean, we're waiting for it. We're waiting for it. 53 points at the moment. I give him another 20 on today, and then we can lock them in. But yeah, it would take some miracles tomorrow, or at least some devastating maneuvers to go down. Quick switch back towards the player on that north side. Alpha 7 will get them back up again. Again, this next circle is pretty much all about Alpha 7 just holding on this north side, not allowing the wraps come through, because you're waiting for Geeky as well as Yangon Galacticos to be pulled off these compounds towards the southeast.
I kind of like the fact that that player from E7 got knocked right there, because I can already see they were getting a little antsy and starting to push up a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And that knock was perfect timing because it wasn't too devastating for them. They were able to get the res. It was very inconsequential. But the next zone does center on up a little bit to the south here, so A7 are going to have to push up little by little. But this zone is terrible because it's pretty much all open field here. Everybody's going to be having to hug the edge, set up some car walls. Look at Tianba. They're still out of the zone. So they have to push up little by little. They have this hillside to work with. This is perfect for them because they can just sit here, wait for all the other fights to happen, and then get into the mix a little bit later on.
Yeah, pretty cautious on the moment. It's Tiamba, even dropping the M79 down there, getting some smokes up. Revo's going to try and hold up teams as they leave these buildings. I don't mind this play. I think that Alpha 7 is currently just trying to lock down E-Arena's approach, which I think is smart. And Revo, definitely the guy you want on the swivel, right? He is locked in when it comes to the sprays. Just needs to make sure he hits casualties rather than full commits there. Just wants to slow Geeky down into the future.
I think that's exactly right. I think Revel's the perfect pick because he has such a high PUBG Mobile IQ, and he knows the most important thing right now is just me not getting knocked.
Yeah.
I just got to stay here, apply some pressure, ensure that I do not get taken out, because if Revel gets knocked here, the chances of him getting thirsted and Alpha 7, really being at a disadvantage is massive.
Well, when you leave out those buildings as well, where Revo's currently playing is usually the next stop-off point, right? Around that rocky outcrops, that's a lovely area to work with. He'll probably need to pass that information back in the near future. But yeah, Alpha 7, they just got to keep tabs on basically 3 teams, Yangon Galacticos, as well as Geeky, as well as E-Arena. They spotted where E-Arena was playing from way, way earlier. Now Tiamba's even getting involved.
Quasao getting a little antsy here with that vehicle. He's got to be careful not to get knocked, as the next zone is starting to close. We have 20 seconds left on the clock. I wonder how much util E-Arena have already, because they have been blowing through a ton of ammunition from this angle. QZZ forced to hit the laydown. He's going to be throwing some smokes, pushing up little by little by little. Oh, Tourniquet, he's got a whole bunch of ammunition, so E-Arena are set up for this one.
He's got a bag, but if Tourniquet goes down first, I mean, that's a lot of util just out the window. QZZ not opting to send these nades close. I mean, I like this from Tourniquet, dude. Kind of a wild maneuver. QZZ taking a lot of a bomb in the moment. More nades flowing over the top here. Another nade in the back lines over towards Schweppes. Good shot over towards Eagle. Oh! Immediately refragged. QZZ has to know we've got to start placing these nades a little bit closer.
Those vehicles really protecting the side arena. That would hurt, though. And that is going to be Schweppes done and dusted. Mormon done. Tourniquet is the one. Up close and personal. 1v1 situation with QZZ. QZZ running in the open, shimmying back and forth, trying to find the angles. Tourniquet with the laydown finally stands up here. and that short nade hurt him big time.
What are
but
we doing?
It's QZZ that shuts him down.
I mean, come on, man. Still got the nade out. You've got the tree cover. Just pull out a shotgun, something. Make the sprays. Quick peeks around the side. QZZ. Real play from him there. GK, though, took advantage of that. Will swing around the side. And now Alpha 7, they have full control. What was that?
And just like that, GK are looking to win this game. Kevin moving up with that almost blown up vehicle here. They know that they are bleeding. Obscure up, trying to make a play all by his lonesome self. The Revo goes down, and now they're gone. GK said,
it's done.
Yeah, see you later, Alpha 7. This is our game to win.
But again, like, Alpha 7 takes so long to even do anything in that situation. They could have helped along that fight with E-Arena a lot sooner. A little bit of hesitation almost. I mean, for GK, dude, GK played that game pretty crazily, honestly, towards that end game. But I respected the aggression.
What happened? I mean, how do you lose that? Yeah, look at that. Carrillo scratching his head. He's like, did we just lose that game? It was in the bag. It was in the bag. It was handed on a silver platter. There's no excuses, guys. Like, I mean, come on. These are our previous PMGC champions. At a certain point, we got to hold these guys accountable. You cannot lose that game if you're A7.
I mean, for Tiamba there, it's an awkward one, right? I think they assume most of the players are further behind the tree line. They get the first couple of knocks here. It's a bit awkward. I think if they started throwing some nades a little bit closer, might have been a different story. But yeah, for Alpha 7, the game just kind of fell apart almost instantaneously. Rough stuff for them. But they play it how they should do up until that final moment. Again, I think right now at PMWC and EWC, the aggression is at an all-time high. You can't afford to be sitting back here.
Not at all. I mean, they needed to get angry, but instead they're driving around in vehicles, looking for intel, getting knocked. I mean, this is just so wild to see.
Let's go.
I'm nading.
I don't have car.
I'm nading them.
I will go left. Go, guys. Go close.
Oh, there are locks here.
Go close. One behind us. Last one behind us. Nice, boys!
Very beautiful fashion. They don't hesitate at all, and that's what you need to do, right? I mean, you were at the disadvantage positionally, but if you do end up getting one of those knocks, you got to finish. And GK said, you know what? We know how to get it done.
I think we saw sort of the issue there right at the end, where Alpha 7, you got Carrillo as well as Revo, like, they're pulling off, I think it was Guiza actually, they're pulling off from the angle at that point in time. But the difference between them and GK there is GK's taking control of the game, whereas realistically Alpha 7 sort of let the game control them all the way until those final moments. So by the time they were trying to reassess and replay against GK, they were already living on massive high, flew around the side and just hit some nasty shots. I mean, for Easy for Bad Boy is an incredible player, an incredible talent on that team, deserves all the love he gets, honestly, but there's no one in survival stage right now, there's no one in PMWC, EWC that can't hit disgusting shots like that.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, I'm being a little hard on them because
they go to second place.
They got a second place, which is great. It's just it would be devastating if they're the 7th place team by just a few points. And we've seen it happen so many times.
No, I agree.
So that's why it's like if you have that opportunity in the bag and you don't close it, my eyebrows go up quite a bit. You know, like, oh, this is not good. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how things bounce back for these teams. But man, one team that's been doing really, really well here is Furia.
Yeah, Fury's done insanely well at the moment. I genuinely have really respected the way that Fury's been playing. It feels very, very different to what we saw in the groups. Let's say that. But I think we'll let Kalaris ask most of the questions in just a little bit once he's ready. We're getting teased right now on an interview for Fury shortly. But yeah, overall, been playing very, very good. Excited to listen in with them when we can. But yeah, Tiamba in the top 5. I think they got fairly far into it. I think it was maybe a top 4 that they got there. They're just churning out points still churning out those points. Anyway, let's head down to the stage with Kalaris to hear a little bit more from Fury.
Thank you, boys. Hogging all the stage for yourself. No, we've got Fury. Very important to talk to, as you say, Blank, here for all of this. So let's talk about the day so far as a whole here for survival stage. A lot of people expecting good things from Furia. What's your perspective on how the games have gone so far?
como é que vocês estão se sentindo, né? No primeiro dia do Survival Stage, vocês estão se sentindo sobre o dia de hoje?
A gente tá muito tranquilo e viemos pra amassar hoje.
We're very relaxed and we came just to demolish them.
Okay, and let's ask about the Erangel then. When you were rotating along the beach below Primorsk, eventually you came back and dealt with Nongshim Red Force for some more eliminations, and then continued to skirt around the edges of the map to eventually try and get the win, but it didn't quite work out. Did you think there was any difference that could have happened in that game, or you could have got the win? What are your thoughts?
Sobre a queda de Erangel ali, a rotação que vocês fizeram ali, passando por Primorsk, depois voltando para pegar Nongshim. Esse jogo foi bem difícil. O que vocês acham que faltou um pouco, né, para a vitória de vocês nesse jogo em específico?
A Cal foi travar as costas e nós brigamos com a NS e depois, para ter uma progressão para frente limpa, nós foi fazer pressão na direita e acabou perdendo. Acho que dificultou isso a play.
So the call out was just like to hold our backline. So Nongshim arrived and we got them. But when we managed to like lose the first player, we kind of misplayed a little bit. That's why it kind of ended our
run, yeah, as a whole. All right, thank you very much, Chief, for joining us here. As now we head on over to Barney, who's ready with Nongshim Red Force.
Thank you so much, Kalaris. Yes, I've got Quizzy here from Nongshim Red Force. We're going to chat a little bit about what's been going on so far. But first and foremost, let's talk about coming off the back of the group stage, only just missing out into the direct finals spot. So coming into the survival stage, what elements were you guys focusing on in order to just make sure that you could most definitely come out of the survival stage and into the finals?
이제 엑시 선수 일단 첫 번째 질문은 좀 몇 점 차이로 아쉽게 이제 파이널 직행을 좀 놓치셨는데 이번 서바이벌 스테이지에 와서는 좀 어떤 거를 중점으로 좀 개선을 하려고 노력하셨는지 궁금합니다.
저희가 사실 뭐 연초부터 WC 직전까지 연습했던 게 결국 교전으로 자리를 뺏어내거나 대회전을 통해서 교전으로 자리를 뺏어내는 걸 연습했었는데 저희가 그룹 스테이지에서는 교전보다는 생존하려는 게임을 하지 않았나 생각을 했었고 그게 피드백이 돼서 이제 이거 서바이벌 스테이지에서는 교전 중심적으로 풀어나가려고 하고 있습니다.
From the start of the year, I think what we have prepared for WC coming here, it was just to take their spots from the gunfights, or we have a grand scale of turnaround, and then maybe we can take their spots as well with the gunfights. However, in the group stage, we didn't do that play. We mostly focused on surviving and inside a circle. So this stage in survival, there's no second chances. So we try to focus on our gunfight, what we have practiced, and we try to show our plays what we have prepared for.
Well, map 3 has been particularly good for you guys, but let's talk a little bit about map 2 and map 4, both on Erangel, of course, but you've been, on both occasions, rotating through the south side of the circle, and on both occasions tried to kind of clear out the teams that are in that south side, like Furia being that team both times, and you kind of failed to capitalize on that and then push forward. Were you just trying to clear out any teams that could be coming in behind you, and what could you have done differently to be able to come out of that, with a potential win?
사실 2매치, 4매치 에란겔에서 사실 좀 교전 플레이가 좀 많이 나왔던 것 같은데 사실 교전이 뜻대로 흘러가진 않았습니다. 특히나 이제 자기장 바깥쪽에서의 교전이 그렇게 좋게 흘러가진 않았는데요. 특히나 이제 퓨리아와의 교전에서 좀 지는 모습이 나왔었는데 좀 어떤 점이 좀 잘못됐다고 생각이 좀 드시고 좀 그 플레이에 대해서 좀 더 설명을 해주신다면 좀 어떤 점을 설명해 주실 수 있을지 궁금합니다.
저희가 교전 시도를 그룹 스테이지처럼 안 하고 파이널에 올라갔을 때 좋은 성적을 기대할 수 없다고 생각해서 최대한 이번 서바이벌 스테이지에서 교전에서 지더라도 교전 감을 찾으려고 계속 교전을 시도하는 모습을 보여드릴 것 같아요.
Yeah, I mean, after this, in the group stage, we avoided gunfights as much as possible. However, we're trying to get a grip on the gunfights and the team fights in this survival stage. So even if we fail, we just try it again and again to get our grip on our gunfights and all the skill levels.
Good job so far. I mean, you guys are doing very well at the moment in the survival stage. Obviously, we need to keep that consistency up. But Nongshim Red Force, Quizzy, thank you so much for joining me in this interview. I really, really appreciate your time. Now go and take a quick break, obviously, before we dive into our next map of the day. But we're coming to an end. It's getting close to the end of the first day of the survival stage. These teams are going to need to scramble for some points. Back to you guys in the studio.
Chasing the sunrise, boots hit the ground, hear the battle call. Loot up, lock in, we're ready for it all. Every street, every door, searching for a little more. One squad, one dream, nothing's ever what it seems. The circle's closing in, can you feel it on your skin? Heartbeat like the drum, the final fight has come. Fight till you make it, never gonna break it. Stand your ground and take it, right into the fire. Fight till you make it, every move can change it. Higher and higher, we're reaching for the winner, winner, chicken dinner. Fight till you make it, fight till you make it.
Congratulations, Geeky. You got the win. But right now, Alpha 7's back, baby. This team, I've been wondering where you have been. We haven't seen you in such a long time. In this game, we actually got a chance to see the Alpha 7 that I've been wanting to see for the longest time. Welcome back, everybody, to PMWC at EWC 26. I'm joined by Lace, the amazing dress. Damn, Jackie, you're looking good, my boy. Oh, looking fresh. Neptura and the 7WG, but Neptura.
Yes.
It was supposed to win an Alpha 7 win.
It was supposed to be. We'll get to that in a second. But first of all, Alpha 7 doing a fantastic job on those early game rotations. That's what got them that second place win, because the zone was centering up. They made a full rotation down to the south side. Zone moves up to Pachinki, and they go, ooh, that's not very good for us. Let's go around again up to the north side. So a really nice set of wraparound rotations in that mid phase, enabling them to get a great position, not only in the zone, but in comparison to where the other teams were, right? Because all the other teams were on the southeast side, all battling each other. And for the longest time, A7 just were having a picnic up there.
Yeah, I mean, they had that control of the northern side, just exactly like you said. Revo going for the scout onto Geek. But then Alpha 7 were a little slow heading on and up that hill to get into that third fight. Obviously, the terrain, a little bit difficult for them to sort of push through. But I think the mistake may have came from Revo not telling them that Geek is moving on the southern side. So obviously that would have been like the kind of misconstrued message, which would have held them back even further from pushing into this third party with EARE and Tiamat.
Yeah, and in this fight, honestly, Jackie, I was looking at it, I was like, find a way, Alpha 7, to third party this, because you're not going to be doing anything with those teams towards the top with GK, and you were going to have to do something at some point, especially with the way that the circle was going. That delay for Alpha 7 lost them the game.
Yeah, man, you got to bring it 7. Look, I'll be honest with you, when I was growing up back in school, people used to call me a geek as like an insult. Obviously, it's very different these days. You've got GK right now, honestly, they're the geeks because they're absolutely bossing it by the mindset they're bringing to the server. And that's kind of what you need. But I think Alpha 7, as much as they're pivoting to look way better towards the end of groups and how they're starting to play, just doesn't get any easier, bro. Like, something's still going wrong.
Yeah, something's definitely still going wrong. And talking about things going wrong here, we got to take a look at some of those teams towards the bottom, because you got KRX that just hasn't been performing that well. And this is a team, honestly, that a lot of people currently watching at home have them going to the finals.
I'm shooketh. And from the group stages, in their first 4 matches, 27 eliminations. And I don't know what's happened. This is A7A qualifying, mark my words. Great stuff. But look, look, they found themselves in a nice little pocket of placement, but then they actually just kind of waited there. They had the vehicle cover. If they would have just pushed the vehicles just the slightest bit more north, they would have been able to have a great position scouting Tiamat on their left-hand side there, but they kind of just played there. They played there nice and safe. and then who came up behind, every other squad sort of rotating into that circle. And this is just a little bit unusual for them. I mean, I'm just kind of a little bit dumbfounded. I want to add like some more sort of information to it, but this is not what we saw in the group stages.
Yep.
This is not what we've saw from international events. What doing, guys?
Yeah, no, it's a real shame because they have so much potential. We've seen them do so many things before, and there's just nothing. It's complete crickets that we're hearing from them, to be honest. I do want to say shout out because Geeky did win that match. Kevin won that match for them. I'm going to say that because he was the one on the south side to push forward when EA and Tiamba were having that fight. He was the one to push forward, get that info, and facilitate the rest of his squad actually pushing onto that position. That enabled them to win the game. So GG Kevin, shout out to you.
Yeah, and for GK, this looks kind of like what we saw out of them in the group stage, right? Especially in day one. In day one, they ended up getting a win in Rondo. Today, they ended up not getting a win, but they still ended up performing quite well, especially when it came to Rondo. But this team needs to make sure they stay with this consistency because usually we see a bit of a slip-off.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is also where we're getting towards the sort of tail end of the day, where you have teams like GOAT that, for my money, you get into Miramar, I think they'd actually step up and rise to the occasion. Like, later rotates, they perform better on that battleground, for my money. I think you're going to really start to run into some uncomfortable territory where they've got to keep it going. And this is where, GK, Tiamba, squads that were a bit paralyzed by analysis in the group stage are now way more proactive. We're seeing some teams try and adopt that, but it's just not fully there, Seven.
And for GOAT, we're going to have to point out those placement points because, my goodness, 3 placement points. We know you are aggressive, GOAT. We know that you can get those eliminations, but the beautiful thing is if you find yourself later into the match, Neptura, those eliminations will start coming to that team because they are that aggressive.
Well, exactly. I mean, look at Nongshim, Reinforced, and Furia. Both teams, E-Arena as well, actually, all 3 teams, they play edge. They wait until the final few phases to really get those eliminations. They only get fights if they're going to try and fight an entry point. That's the only time you see them get those eliminations in the early game. So all 3 of them, yes, Furia, okay, maybe not the best example, 9 placement points versus 23 elim points, but Nongshim 16 and 16, E-Arena 13 and 18. They're able to be very consistent on both fronts, and yeah, GOAT definitely need to take a page out of their book.
They just hit a top 5. Like their eliminations are crazy, and if you have a look, it's not that far in between. But if they can just get this top 5, it'll change things for them, push them in that top 6. So greatest of all time. Let's go.
Please,
I think they can do it.
Please do it. And here, as we're looking at the second page of the overall, we got AGAL. I mean, this is the squad once again. This is so crazy saying this after almost every single team, but it's just the way we are currently in PUBG Mobile Esports. Any team could actually end up going to the finals. There's just so much good competition going on here at PMWC at EWC 26. But AGAL, once again, not the performance we're expecting.
No. It kind of feels like they're trying to do what they were doing in the group stage, but for some reason the lobby is just not allowing them to, and they've got to adapt. I think it's probably something to do with those rotations. They keep getting caught out in the mid phase in a whole bunch of teams. If you look back at their games, most of the time there's 3 or 4 teams in very close proximity to them. So for me, I'm like, you need to start avoiding some of those teams, some of those players in that mid phase if you want to survive.
Oh, I'm hoping that's going to be the case because we are past the halfway mark here at PMWC at EWC 26 for survival stage. We have 2 more games for day 1 of survival stage. We'll see what's going to be happening in Miramar. Before we go to Miramar, though, let's send it over to Kalaris and Maxman. Went away from us.
What a delightful treat here on the stage. I get to be with Maxman to talk about everything that is going on throughout some of these games, as well as kind of highlight some of the teams. You guys have already talked ad nauseum about Alpha 7, but it's definitely one of the teams that we also want to talk about, right? Because here in the survival stage, there are previous PMWC champion, previous PMGC champion. There's been some glimmers there for Alpha 7. It's just they could go a little bit further. What do you think?
No, I fully agree. It's definitely not been the year of Alpha 7, right? 2026 been a bit rough. PMMI, PMGO Season 1 having a bit of a bad time. But here, going into the survival stage, that's some very slow start, especially that first Rondo, the first Durango, only 2 points on those 2 maps combined. So definitely not what you're expecting to see from a roster like this. But I was just talking to Revo, actually, just a few minutes ago. And we did see at the start today, right, Kalaris, he brought in Nuth on the lineup because he told me that he really wants to play Rondo, right? Nuth is like a Rondo player. And also he's fairly young, so let's just try and get him involved a little bit, get some experience. But unfortunately, by doing so, I think that they did have a bit of a slower start, but now the main lineup is back on board. So Alpha 7 here, with that game in particular, I'm hoping we see just more consistent points coming in.
I think if you're going to make any changes, the start of survival stage, you try and kind of tease something out, or especially if he really appreciates Rondo, is going to be the kind of place to do it. But for this Alpha 7 roster, what's interesting to me is I still think that these guys have the gunpowder, the play, the potential to get big elim games, but we're not quite seeing it just yet. When you go to the next Erangel, right, where they're in a position just above kind of that Nongshim Red Force compound, when I say above, I mean verticality-wise, it was south. But there, you're eventually always going to get crushed down on by those teams that eventually will come along. So it's nice to be there, but it's just being there too early that is kind of the determining factor.
I was actually really surprised they survived as long as they did in that game, right? The Nongshim Red Force did win. But yeah, I feel like they go for some very passive positions. But Alpha 7, we saw in that game, they have the gun power. I want to see it more going into Miramar.
Need the defending champions. So for all of these, like Yangon Galacticos and a previous PMWC champion here to do well here in the survival stage. For now, though, it is time to head on over to another game here for PMWC.
Let's get it going here. We are now headed into the sunny, sandy deserts of Miramar. Erangel is done. Rondo is done. Now it's time to get into the desert and see if these teams, especially the squads at the bottom, right, can pull out a big win here to at least put them in a good spot for running a top 6. We see Tianba already with a massive point gap, right? So they are looking very, very comfortable to at least make it into the top 6.
Absolutely, I think Tianba is looking really, really good right now. It's interesting that there's quite a few teams that are massively taking advantage of this lobby at the moment, and you can't let those types of free wins slip you by, because those will be the difference makers. I mean, you brought it before. It was a great point that we don't want to see certain teams being in 7th place with 4 points that we know that the 10 changes were made met those requirements. So we are getting over towards Miramar now, down from the southwest up towards the northeast. Very different battleground for a lot of our squads here, looking to switch things up, looking to get back on the map. But for Tianba, it is roughly another 20 points here, 19 realistically over the next 2 maps to make it very, very hard. I was going to say impossible, but I don't want to be the guy that curses Tianba. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Make it very hard for them to not get in tomorrow. For Geeke, they launch themselves up towards 2nd place. What I will say for Tianba, what they're doing right now, is being a nasty little point sponge. We have very limited points differential between a lot of our teams. Right now, RQ is sitting on 29, just 7 points behind Geeke in 2nd place. That's 7th right now at RQ. So there's a lot of movement that can still happen. I think tomorrow's going to be a bit of a slobber knocker, but we still have 2 more matches right now to try and even things out towards the top.
Yeah, I think Tianba, as long as they stay halfway consistent, we'll see them in the top 6 for sure. But everybody else, it's still anyone's game, right? So there's still a lot of slots still available here. This playing path is very, very classic right here, right? So we finally get to see a good one right across the way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, baby! Water circle in Miramar.
Give me the island. Give me the island.
Yeah.
5th match of the day. Very awkward. Would love to see it, but it's launching a lot of teams out over towards the northwest side of the map right now. So they need to get a move on down towards Impala, to Puerto Paraiso. East side of Los Leones, maybe try and take up some of that high ground early on. But honestly, I think a lot of teams are going to be looking over towards Impala and the high ground that sits over towards that northern side. La Bandita, a little bit of a weird funnel for some of our teams coming on through. I do think there's going to be a slight delay here. We'll hit zone 2, however, we'll get an answer. We head far over towards that eastern side. Might be interesting, might be. But as I've learned my lesson multiple times in the past, is not to get too excited about these ones too early. Let it happen.
You know what, guys? I'll tell you what else you can make it happen. You can get some of these sick weapon skins in the game. You can see right there, we got that Nine Tails Fury AUG. The Naruto Uzumaki event is still going on, guys. The best PUBG Mobile collaboration I have seen and witnessed in my career of playing PUBG Mobile, which has been since this game has started. So I love it. I hope you guys can get your hands on it before it is gone. And some of these teams and players need to get gone pretty quickly here. With this playing path, you're going to finally see Alpha 7 be able to get their Oposo hot drop. So they're going to get that loot. They're going to get set up. With this circle shift, though, they are going to have to get moving through quite a few different teams. and hopefully we could see them get into a good space. Again, personally, I'm extra harsh at this point here because a lot is on the line here, especially when it comes to the legacy of Alpha 7, winning PMGC, not making it to a final just yet. And losing that last game had me really just scratching my head here. And I know we literally saw Carrillo scratch his head after that one as well. So hopefully it lights a fire in this team and just be like, you know what? All right, we should have won that one. Let's make sure that we make it happen here again. Sometimes all it takes is just to get a good, decent game to really get you going. And it could happen here and now.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I think there needs to be something that launches them into action. We were having talk beforehand. It's we're banging on them out a little bit right now because literally everyone else has talked about. Max has just talked about Kyle. Kale's just talked about the Deaths, just talked about them. But yeah, I think it boiled down to us saying, just be Alpha 7, guys. You guys are aggressive. You're a strong team. Great teamwork overall. Let's just see that. Let's go back to what we've seen in the past, what we know they can do. It feels like a loss of confidence almost coming through at the moment. However, that confidence will be needed by much more teams on our map right now as they do slip on through. We've got QZ with some parkour over down towards Los Leones, likely going to be eking their way over to the eastern side shortly.
One thing looking at the leaderboards right here is our top 6 are some serious names, right, already. So they're looking really good. You got Goto right below them, Young Galacticos, our previous World Cup champs from last year. All these teams below them, though, this is kind of already starting to get crunch time. You're trying to hunt down top 6. Tomorrow is going to be wild, especially in those final games, because it's no longer the bottom 3. It's pretty much almost the whole lobby's going home after this. So the desperation is going to get worse and worse and worse as time goes on. So you really don't want to wait till those last couple matches to treat that last hope to get into that top 6. You want to get those points here now.
Exactly, because you do not want to see your keys heading over towards that Crusher, because we are going to be getting rid of quite a few of them tomorrow. 10 teams will be tossed in there. And again, for 6 squads, they will be moving onwards to meet the other 10 that made it through from groups. But 2 days to do it.
That's right.
Still quite a bit of time to make it work, but it definitely feels like a very big sprint for some squads. Doesn't help when Tiamba slices out so far towards the front of the pack at the moment. That is really, really tough for you because you don't want point sponges this early on. You'd like to differentiate yourself, and that differentiation has only come through from Tiamba, which is exactly why off one big win, Geeke can be into 2nd place as we head in towards the 5th match. Nongshim Red Force, been fairly pleased with how these guys are playing. Got to speak to some of those guys before. They're very self-critical though, this squad. Very, very self-critical. So it feels like every single game they've played, they've come off from it and basically are thinking to themselves, what can we change? What can we do different? So I feel like Nongshim should make it into the top 6 here. They seem to be a very, very dedicated team when it comes to let's change this, let's change that, let's make sure that coming into these next 2 days we have everything we need to make this work. They're also coming off the back of some momentum on that Group B. So yeah, I do have some hope for Nongshim.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we saw them be the first team to smash an international event at PMMI. It was Furia that ended up with the most points, but ended up getting 2nd place because Nongshim Red Force won the last game there. Oh, nice shot there from Genfos, taking out Aking from Tiamba. Now, Tiamba have had a great day so far, so not crazy amount of a worry, but they are going to lose that player early on.
You know, I like that. I actually like that. I think that's a smart move from Tiamba. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but the right move there for Tiamba was to move, right? It sounds obvious, but still, they instantly send over towards that northeast side. They can't wait around. It's a really awkward hit and a good pickup from RRQ. They're waiting for that team to exit from the warehouse. But for Tiamba, they know that we can't stick around. We have to get further ahead here so we can set up for the late game. Yes, we go down to 3. Yes, it sucks, but this is the only way we can really play in.
A lot of these players want to continue to be playing here in the PUBG Mobile World Cup live here in Paris, France. You can see GenFoss RQ. Okay, they're hunting him down, right? They say, hey, you know what? We got that elimination. We have the numbers. We're in a 4-3 split here. We know it's Tian, but we want to slow them down. And RRQ are looking to do it here. Pushing up close and personal. Milu with the nade, turning the tables, and he's doing this all by himself. It's the squad wipe, 1v4 from Milu.
What did we just witness? In a blink of an eye, RRQ is just gone. They just wandered in and Tiamba was having absolutely none of it. I say Tiamba, it's just Milu. This guy went 1.5 miles for the rest of his squad.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about here. Said, you gonna take out my teammate? Goodbye. Oh, man.
QZZ wasn't even phased, dude. He was already taking shots at other teams.
What happened? All right. I guess, good job, Milu. All right, good job. Let's get back to business here. Oh, man. Devastation on the side of RQ, but Tianba finally.
Looks happy. He looks happy.
Yeah, he's smiling there.
Be.
He's like, oh, let me go ahead and make sure we're all good. Okay, now it's time to get back to business. Now we gotta let the heart rate kind of get back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the quickest 1v4s I have ever seen. Let's take a first-person replay on this one because, goodness me, insane nade. RRQ, honestly, no smokes, no nothing. To be honest, walking into the building like that was mega disrespectful. We have to say that. As a two-man, very easy nade. You could see it a mile off. But yeah, wonderful stuff from Milu. I think the craziest thing about that is the jump past the doorway into the S12K shots that came through, and then just the pure aggression. My guy was rabid going through that doorway.
And Milu, the man on fire, literally, right? Just putting in that work. He's been doing it all day long for Tianba, you know? And it's plays like that that breeds so much confidence in you, your team. There's a lot. I mean, I am that way. I'm a little superstitious, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do a play like that, I'm like, it's meant to be. We're going to win this, dude. Like, what else do you want?
Well, but that's the thing. I mean, I was thinking about it earlier that for Tianba, they're a realistic team that just, they've had this momentum. And I think a lot of teams are lacking this right now. It's just confidence in that survival stage to make plays, to make those big moments, because you know, if you're not in that top 6, you're going home. You don't have that safety net anymore. If I'm not in top 5, at least I'm going to the survival stage. So only 3 of us are going out. Everyone's playing very scared at the moment. Now, I do want to go back to Tianba, though.
Okay.
Because when RRQ was chasing them, in quotation marks, Tianba was actually the ones to re-engage. They re-engaged back onto Longhouse, cut RRQ off, almost goaded them into fighting them. I've never seen anything quite like it, honestly. And to be fair, in that 3v4, it sort of worked. Like, RRQ showed them no respect walking into Longhouse.
Unreal. Vamos. Let's get it going here. You know what? Speaking of going home, it was crazy. This is a little bit of a background on kind of what's going on here. You know, so many people, I mean, Paris has just been such a wonderful place to visit, to be here. These teams are so blessed and love it, right? And the thing is, some of these guys, their hotel rooms are literally booked until tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay? So it's, if you make it, you stay here longer. If not, pack your bags, you're going home the next morning, right? So there's no messing around here. You know, this is by far been one of the most incredible stages, places I've had the personal pleasure of visiting, and these guys want to stay here a little bit longer. And you can see Furia, with some beautiful nades there onto KRX, waiting for the one to hit. Do they run out and make this play, though? That's the problem, is there's so many shots coming from all over the place. These nades looking deadly, though. Hoxie gets caught.
Dude, there's some D-reg on that nade. Like, I think if that one pops just a little bit later, Hoxie's down. For good, at least.
Another deep nade. Oh, that's CRE down as well. So, Furia, they're hopping in the vehicle. They're going. They want to finish this fight out. And that is Lufa actually stealing that elimination with the SKS. But here comes Furia. They actually make the drive. They're popping it down. Igor gets one and gets another. And that is KRX eliminated.
Igor's been on fire today, honestly. He's going to back up a little bit. Liu moves up from AGAL, sending some nades on through. Will find the shot as well. This man is on a tear. He is an absolute tear. Igor has not stopped for a moment today.
Igor with a massive performance. I got the pleasure to see him and his beautiful girlfriend over there by the Eiffel Tower, and he was so stoked there. The love was in the air, and I think with her presence being here, this man is just looking unstoppable.
He's taking all the way. Revo.
No way! Don't jump! Don't do it! Don't do it!
He's baiting out the shots here. It's kind of an interesting one. See? Oh, here's him back off the angle. Oh, he's still confusing him, dude. This is crazy stuff. Finally makes it into the building. Good push in. Lost Carrillo a little bit earlier on.
Got him.
There it is. There's the Revo we know and love. No matter what the shotgun is, he's a master of it.
Risky play, though, by the way.
Dude,
that's a straight 1v1, dude. Like, he gets knocked, he's thirsted immediately. But sometimes it takes that, right? Sometimes it takes making those risks.
Couldn't wait. He couldn't wait, though, right? You know, he's baiting off the window. He listens for the sound cue, hears him back it off. Doesn't want to wait for him to reset up in those rooms.
Oh, man. The plays are ringing out here. You can see Fudia with a good, solid position in this next zone. A lot of central spaces are taken already. Wolves have a good spot here. They're one of those teams that desperately need a good performance if they want to hold on and stay just a little bit longer here in Paris. And let's get this going. We are in the hillside between Los Leones and Impala. Where's the zone going to go, though? Up to the north. Okay, all right. So Fudia locked in the middle. Tianba as well. Wolves have a position. And our previous champs, Yangon Galacticos, on the south side, going to have to fight their way in.
Yeah, tough push for them. If they try and isolate over towards GK, because that's a full-on drop-off down towards the warehouses where they're playing, Yangon and Galacticos could find some good shots their way, and then maybe swing around over towards 721 GS. Be far easier just to wrap him past Goat, though. Goat's currently moving. Tianba were able to find themselves a decent building. These guys have just... They're just expanding in the lobby right now. This is very much a lot of pressure coming through from the squad. Furia took some risks. Igor's cancelled all those risks out fairly swiftly. Now they got Alpha 7 over towards their northern edge. I think a lot of teams just do not want to see this one move over towards that northwest side. Dopeness taking a bit of a gamble on the compound that sits in the middle of the fields.
That's that MK. That Bob Barker bringing out here. Didn't have a lot of ammunition in fourth, though. I think I only saw like 38 rounds. Just got to be a little bit conservative with that. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to Miramar. Resource management is so important. You got to have that util towards the end game. And sometimes the only way to get that is by looting some boxes.
There we get Skooin and looting. And the MK, it hurts. Shoot it as fast as you can click it. But I think for these moments where it's just pure situations where you want to get up in people's face, like when the shotgun would be very, very nice here. Schweppes dodging the vehicles, moves out the way, will duck back down again. Look to take some shots over the top side though, but Claus will shut him down. The rest of the arena floundering a little bit. Schweppes immediately on those front lines, not able to stick up, and 10K next to fall here. The arena just getting brushed aside basically right now by Alula.
Quick with the quick thirst as well. The Thai squad in some trouble here. It's up to Joker. All by himself, 0 eliminations. Tries to put something on the points, on the board for his team. Quick's gonna throw that nade. That bounce does hit him up a little bit. Another piece of util. And Joker barely surviving that. And no, that burn, baby, burn. That is E-Arena out. Al-Ula with 3 eliminations, controlling the north side.
Al-Ula now looking to force their way down from the north. I mean, E-Arena just crumbled there. A real unfortunate scenario for them. Was hoping they could go further in this game. For E-Arena, they're sat in 5th place. They would love to add some more points to their tally. Not meant to be, though. Yangon Galacticos, they did swing over the top side of 721 GS. We're looking for those teams moving up from behind. Smile does take a knock on the back lines, though. There's 2 down for this squad. This is a rough fight between the 2 of them. QZ, I don't know how he hits that shot, but he does. That's right from the center of the map. He is sending letters off to the very corners of Miramar.
Making it happen. QZ 20-year-old Chinese superstar. He was the MVP of the PUBG Mobile Macau Invitational, even though they didn't end up winning it. It looks like Milu, though, is really performing so well. You know, that's hyping him up, saying, all right, it's time for me to start putting in some work as well. Next zone does pop. Tiamba are going to be in this next circle, so is Fudia. Catch a break here, and they honestly need it. They've had a really rough day. They only have 2 players up, but they have a central position. Not the best one, though, because everybody's going to be looking right at them. It's going to be tough for them to get some eliminations. Maybe they can catch some steals. We'll see. But looking on the south side, not in zone. GOAT going to have to push on up. Yangon Galacticos right next to them. Looks like this fight is imminent.
Yangon Galacticos, they did go for that reset at the moment. Go start to move up on through. Cloud is completely out here. They were able to recover Smile earlier on, but as I said before, no one really wanted this one to head over towards that northwest side. Sadly, it does. We'll see just how much it cuts in the near future, but it's going to become a very uncomfortable final couple of zones. Smile, ducking, dodging as much as he can, gets behind the vehicle at least. We'll see if he does get flushed off at the back of that one. Romeo, swing up towards that top side now. Trying to get a little bit of information, but Minot's down. He's going to think twice about taking that engagement. Killer Joe out inside the smoke might just be the one to take down Romeo afterwards.
Killer Joe said, let's go. Let's get out of here right now. And Foops, man, with the M249. Making it happen, putting down that suppressive fire. He's got plenty of ammunition in the bank. And it's time for him to start using it. Switching weapons over here. Very, very interesting as he's popping off some shots. 721 GS, you can see the look on their faces. These guys are locked in right here. 7 eliminations so far. This could be another good game for them. They are climbing up those leaderboards little by little. They're in 8th place right now. But they know now's the time to close the gap and win this game. They're on the edge of the circle, but they are just trying to hunt a spot in this next zone. Foops, man, got that 8 times. Hitting them lean peaks. Looking good.
It's funny going from the 8 times to the M249 with the red dot. I mean, he is really mixing and matching. What kind of range is he's working with? Gets a bit more ammo online. Force doesn't need to get picking up though. Nongshim Red Force sending down towards the south side. They picked up Force. Don't know if Goat's going to get too involved on this one, but Nongshim definitely looking for some more points. Will re-knock him.
Foops, man, putting in that work here. And we see Revo get a knock on a 721 GS. They're battling it out with them. They want this spot here on the east side. Heads up to Rian, all by himself. Revo is ready to say, you know what? Let's not just run in blind. Let's use some of this util. Bang! But they do end up getting one player down. Got to be careful here. Another nade! Will barely survive it. Alpha 7 cannot afford to go down here.
Graham. Looking to move from the side, great shot. Revo walks directly into it, and now Alpha 7 in a spot above her. Good shot though, coming out from Guizhou, keeping the team alive in this moment. Alpha 7 needs another strong game. Good tag, but no flush, no knock. Here's the first aid. We'll keep putting the pressure on, and good stuff from Guizhou. An incredible clutch here. So important for Alpha 7.
And there is Nongshim Red Force eliminated as GOAT survive here. Fights happening all over the place. That was a huge break for the side of Alpha 7 and GOAT, as they are going to get a full reset. You can see the frustration for some of these players here as we are in the second to last match of day 1. Only one more left to go, but this is a critical one.
Tiamba went down to 3 players much earlier in the game, and they're still kicking around down towards that southeast side. Furia also playing from. Showhouse were able to get some good work done. Igor, mate, Igor is just unreal today. I do not know what's gone into him.
I know.
Yep.
He had that. He had that twinkle in his eye yesterday. I'll tell you that right now. He said, "You know what, baby? I'm gonna pop off tomorrow." And it looks like he is doing it. Silence has got that P90 as well. Furia looking rock solid here in the end game. Let's see how they're going to be able to finish it out. They're currently in 3rd place. They're going to throw some util towards Alpha 7. Now it's a battle between the Brazilian Brotherhood here. It's A7 versus Furia. Revo getting pieced up, but he's driving that Murado up close and personal. But Igor says, no, sir, not today.
Igor skates on the bonnet of a vehicle, now looks to send down another. Will be finally taken down, but Fury is putting in the work. Revo sent sky high by a nade, essentially shunted him further towards Fury in the situation. Nade's planted inside the smoke. Obscure's gonna send wide. Knows he can't do it now because he's getting shot at by so many separate squads. Woo. Sets up behind the trailer, but it's Aaron. But well-placed shot from distance to take the rest of Alpha 7 down. Not a bad result for them, but 8th place is not going to give you many placements overall.
They're going to put something on the board, and that's honestly what they need to do. They're currently in 4th place. That's going to be good enough. As long as you're in that top 6, that is all that matters. That's going to keep you in this tournament just a little bit longer. Tiamba, though, they're still in this game. Furia as well. It's a huge opportunity for them to start soaking up some points and make a big gap going into the last game.
I don't know, man. PUBG Mobile team seems to have blessed Ulf right now. They've just got 2 loot crates dropped on top of them. Yeah, absolutely. It feels like shining lights all around them. 777s.
They need it, honestly. I see Catch walking in here with a Band-Aid on his hand. He's like, you know what? I take all the breaks I can get, you know?
MG3 as well. I mean, drop some smokes on the other one. Get out of there, honestly.
They got a nice setup right here. They got a blown up car, buggy on the other side, hay bales on either side of them. So they are dead center. Should be able to get some solid placement points. Who's going to win this game, though? That's the question. You got Dopeness up top. But with Dopeness so far not making too much noise, they have the position. I think it's time for them to start getting some aggression going as this next zone does pop. And it's in the wide open field. And Ulf have the coverage here. Let's see what they can do with it.
We'll see. I mean, it might be Tiamba time. It may actually be Tiamba time. As a 2-man, we'll see how Ulf can hold off these other squads, but it's the spot, right? It is the spot. People see there's loot crates around it. You are going to see some big crashes coming in soon. And the first one is going to be gold.
They want it. Can Ulf hold it? Scarface with the MG3, they got the weapons, but Killer Joe is up close and personal, but it is Ulf that is able to take him down. The duo putting in work.
Wolves also looking over towards this location. Milu's going to swing wide down towards that southern edge. Aaron goes down. Teams aren't capitalizing off the back of this one. Finally, Furia makes the move. They're going to be next to face. Can Scarface make this one work? We'll stop short, actually. The vehicle's smoking. Flames pouring out the front.
They get in the zone. That's all that matters, right? They got some coverage with their vehicles. Ulf now barely holding the spot, but Aaron, are you kidding me? Ulf from the central position being so dangerous. Silence, you gotta move, bro. You gotta move. Ooh, barely escaping those nades. That hay bale coming in clutch. Finally, Silence able to put a little bit of suppressive fire here. Oh, and he gets the knock on the Scarface.
That's the MG3 down right now. Might be the thing that saved them before, but it's not in play anymore. Molotov over the top. See if he can sink this one just about right. It's a little far, might spread. Still taking some little shots here and there. Tiamba, in the meantime, were just backing off the Wolves, who have sent themselves crashing into Alula on the western side. Dopeness finally waking up, realizing that, guys, we've got to get a move on from this northern edge. We've got to control this.
Our points, our sweet, sweet points getting taken away by all these teams pushing in, but Dopeness getting it done finally. They are getting in the action. 5 eliminations for them. How many more are they going to try to get? Let's see. We got Tiamba as well. They have been waiting, and now starting to get into the action. Furia again, just throwing them long nades. That is going to get Scarface out. It's just Aaron up for the squad. Let's see what he can do.
Gorgeous little bouncer there for Ulf, though. We expected way more out of this squad. They're currently on 21 points. The placement points alone will be very, very good depending on how many more teams do go down. Dopeness trying to split out right now in a 2-2. They're going to try and regroup and take the task over towards Furia on the eastern side. Milu, though, trying to go for some shots. Won't quite tag on. The vehicle does get cut up in the process, though.
Woo! Tight looks here on the side of Milu. Milu has been on fire today. One of the craziest 1v4s of the tournament. already in the bag. Be nice to continue with that and get this chicken dinner here and lock down that spot. The finals.
We said 20 points. 20 points was realistically what they were looking at for the last 2 matches of the day. Get up towards 80, and then it's super difficult to drop out. Aaron,
how?
Flames around him. Nade goes long. First one's a good knock over towards Silence here. Aaron swinging around the sides, has the UMP to work with, but there's absolutely no way he's making it happen. Milu's been watching this the entire time. However, instantaneously, Tiamba is looking to cause problems. They're trying to send nades down this way, clean out these players. They were able to get the res off. This nade goes a little bit too far to the side.
Furia now starting to loot up. Looks like they're really low on meds here. They would have been using them already if they had them, but now Eagle, he's got that nade. Furia got to be careful here. All it takes is that one. It's looking pretty good. Oh, just a little overcooked there. Buggy now blown up. Silence getting caught by Milu. Milu is just making it happen here from this angle and just tearing Furia apart.
It's the Milu QZZ show right now. Another nade, look to send it through and towards the middle. It certainly has been Tiamba time today. And I don't think we're stopping the clock just yet. Igor underneath. Milu tries to regroup the rest of the team. Not a possibility. Speaker will find them. That off angle was absolutely deadly, and now Dopeness from that northern edge. They're going to start to spread out on this one. It's the right call from them. Plenty of little bits of hard cover to play from that northern side. They can continue to squeeze these two teams now.
Eagle trying to pop up, make something happen with that M4. Lufa with that disgusting angle on that tractor. And yeah, he has his car right behind him, so he goes and pops into it. Gonna be pushing up little by little. Dopeness had the angles. Furia is dead stuck in the spot and just avoiding these nades. All those vehicles coverage is just working out so well for them. And QZZ forced to inch up little by little and getting punished there by Kenji.
Kenji will take down QZZ as well as Eagle from distance. Now Furia, a lot of work to do here. Eagles, who has been a man on a mission to impress today, now looking to do it again here, but there's only 2 players left. Dopeness on 9 eliminations. Nade goes long, will knock. He finds the first. We'll go for the flush on this one. Every single point counts, and Egos will find at least one more at the end of the game, but it's Dopeness from the north side to take the win.
Oh man, and did they need it. You can see the sigh of relief. These guys popping off, they deserve that chicken dinner, and this could be the start of their run towards the finals. Let's get it going. Dopeness, man, did they need that one. Yeah, you can see Furia dapping him up. Igor looking good, my man. That is how you get it done.
Yeah, honestly, Furia is looking good today. This is the Furia we expected and wanted whilst watching inside the groups. It's a tough game. That's a tough game to play there. I think they worked it out well. They had some of the zone towards the early on portions of the game. Going on Tiamba, they kept it cool. I think they kept it very, very cool there.
Yes.
I like that Igor's honestly had the courage to play out on the outside edge. Like, that's a hard angle to work with, but he has to play there to fend off versus the likes of Milu when he starts popping up from inside that rock. Tiamba, on the other hand, though, we also have to talk about this team.
Yes.
Oh my goodness me. What a set of just bold play after bold play that worked out. And it's great to see. I think Milu is feeling it.
Milu is on one right now. I'll tell you that right now. This guy is looking too good. That 1v4 was ridiculous. This is the Tiamba that you know, Max and I saw during the PMMI PUBG Mobile Macau Invitational, and then come group stage, we're like, what is going on? We were talking to each other, being like, this is not something that we have seen from them. They're playing it so passive, not looking confident at all. And then finally, in the survival stage, this is what we've been expecting. This is what we've been waiting for, and they are performing as expected.
For Dopeness, there's not been a whole lot of highlights from this team so far. I mean, over in the group, it was a cool finish for them to make their way into survival stage. But this is kind of the major moment for them, right? And they should be happy about that win as well. It's a good win for Dopeness. But again, for Dopeness, it can't come down to going up towards the, like, just dead zone where you have a compound where you can sit and wait out the matches, only to slowly come in from the north side, completely kitted, completely looted, and then just finish the game from there. We need to see a little bit more from Dopeness going forward, but this is the first step on their journey to get in towards that top 6.
Yes, it is indeed. So, I mean, it's a perfect timing to do it as well. We still got one more game here on the day, 6 more matches left tomorrow. And these teams that are, in the top 6, minus, Tiamba, who have already done a whole bunch, still need to keep their eye on the prize here. You got to be able to make it happen if you want to make it to those finals. We got some more action coming up in just a second.
Now, one of the cool things that popped up here in week 6 is this new PUBG Mobile booth in collaboration with Naruto. We just did a live segment here, so we've got everybody still hanging out, but you guys need to come check this out if you were hanging out at our venue, because it's kind of one big game. The more that you interact with this booth, the more cool prizes you could potentially go home with. We have cosplayers. Show them over there. We've got a chicken hanging out, ready for some photos. Apparently Dawood is running around in true Naruto fashion, and you want to come by, take some photos here, because at the end of it all, there is some really cool free prizes that you could be winning. You might have seen it on the broadcast. There are Naruto t-shirts. You see Dawood in the headband, who is really tiring himself, making sure he joins in on this action. And of course, you can come hang out with your very own chicken. So make sure you stop by and see everything that we have to offer.
But who's inside that chicken, Leonard? That's what I want to know. Hey, if you can find that out for me, that'll be great. Because right now we had Dopeness come out with the win, Max. And this is a team that really needed that win, really needed the points. Give it to them, but still, you need the points, Dopeness. Good job.
You know that Rachel Seal and the entirety of Reject are like, yes, finally, they qualified, they're doing something. But yeah, as you said right there, Seven, it was definitely a gifted win. They are a team that dropped in Picardo. They went for very quick rotation, which I do have to say I appreciate. Very quick movement, and especially great control on the third party. Furia is fighting. There's also Xiamba getting involved, trying to compete for that chicken dinner. They're not slow, which I was expecting them, because they've been such a passive team the entirety of this event. But no, they committed to the push. They got involved. And generally, Nestora, we're looking at this one. I am hoping that that's going to give them just a bit of confidence to play it more aggressive, just like we saw Yangon Galacticos do too. Because before this point, Dopeness were just fully invisible.
No, they were. It's really fun to be able to see them, and like you said, they're not being slow. It's not a game winning by chance. It really is. It's loud. It really is that moving forward and being able to actually, and it's vibrating. The cameras are vibrating.
Yeah, keep saying what you were going to say. What were you going to say?
Keep saying. What we're going to say is, no, it's really, really nice to see them. They were controlled. They were methodical. It was a really, really good push, slow and steady, but the synergy was really there. Again, they went from 0 to 100. They were able to maintain that pace without letting the earlier games get away from them.
Yeah, I just want to give it to Team Dopeness, and this is coming out of the group stages. I think you guys have to remember that they actually clawed their way out of the bottom 3 to be in the survival stage.
Yep.
Yes, Max, kind of a gifted zone for them, I must agree, but also, yeah, their way that they defended that, especially with 9 eliminations, like this is something that they're obviously desperately wanting to hold on to, but when they are gifted those zones, they control it, which is something massive that I love seeing from Team Dopeness, and of course, that was the same kind of team we saw in the last kind of matches in our group stages. So, I mean, it is deserved.
Yeah, for Dopeness, though, just quick reminder, it's not about not being in the bottom 3. It's about being in the top 6 here at survival stage if you want to be able to get a chance to actually go to finals. Quick guess, who's going to be the MVP?
Milu?
Hey, Milu indeed with the 6 elims. And honestly, with the way he's performing, we'll get a chance to do some predictions once again towards the end of the day. But I wouldn't be surprised if that man is going to be none other than the MVP of the day. But let's look at the match ranking. Dominance there with 21 points. Happy to see that. But Furia was able to have a hell of a match here as well.
I loved Furia in this match. I loved everything that they did. It was controlled, it was methodical, it was really, really nice to see them come through. We're going to get a replay in a little bit where I really want to break down a play that they made, but their timing was impeccable. And, you know, any critique that I've had of them is that they're just playing too slowly for this lobby.
Yep.
It's worked in the past, but just not here. And here you can see some of the replays coming on through here, you know, up against Ulf, up against Tiamba. They were caught between Tiamba for the longest time. Them and A7 able to really pull up a really, really nice front of defense against them. And, you know, here we are going to see Tiamba have a great high ground and be able to take out Furia 1-by-1. That is them for the 3rd place, but just a really, really good play overall from Furia this game. Very happy with them.
Yeah, and Tiamba as well. I mean, continuing on that consistency that we've seen throughout the day, I was expecting a GAL from China to actually end up performing well, Max. That is not the case right now, and we're not going to talk about it because that is 2 squads that I'm pretty sure, 100% sure, we have in our predictions. So our predictions are sucking, my friend.
I actually have all gamers in my predictions and not Tiamba.
I should have checked your predictions before I did my predictions.
Uh-oh. Okay, but now looking at the final moments